Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Oh, Lord.
We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte.
We'll say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Here. Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter. Here. Councilmember Deidre Johnson-Reed. Here. Councilmember Dan Darrell.
Here.
Thank you. Do we have any comment cards? Having none, at this time, I ask you to put your phone on silent. If we had some, there'd be no back and forth. And now we move on to 2A.
Acceptance of the minutes, regular meeting of October 1st, 2024, which will be published on October 16th, 2024.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, it was Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion about our October 1st meeting? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3A.
Ashley Spiker to announce her candidacy for Iberia Parish Assessor.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Ashley Myers Spiker, Iberia Parish Assessor. Born and raised in Iberia Parish, I am a Jeanerette native. I have served the Iberia Parish Assessor's Office as an employee for the last 2 decades. Working my way up and through the office, I've worked in the real estate department, commercial, cadastral, GIS, mapping, oversight of our fieldmen, was appointed as the chief deputy in 2021 by Assessor Taylor Barra, and then was sworn in on January 9th as the assessor of Iberia Parish. I am the only candidate in the race that is a certified Louisiana assessor that actually knows how to calculate millages, perform and pass ratio studies, which is required in order to get our tax roll balanced and approved, so taxing districts as yourself can collect the revenue from all our ad valorem taxation. So I'm not going to keep you long. It's been an honor and a privilege serving for the last 2 decades, and I look forward to continuing that service with your support on November 5th. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, 3B.
Benjamin Myers to announce his candidacy for new Iberia City Councilman representing District 2.
Good afternoon, folks.
Good evening.
My name is Benjamin Morris. I'm one of the candidates for the city council race in District 2 here in New Iberia, Louisiana. My number on your ballot is number 26. The issues I would like to address that's coming onto this council is the situation we have in District 2, it's also District 3 as well as 5, is the Hopkins Street repair. We have had money on the books since 2015, to Hopkins Street, 2015, 2016, and nothing has been done. At the same time, the money was on the books for the Main Street and St. Peter Street, they were done right away. The excuse that was given to us is that they needed to do some drainage work before they do Hopkins Street. Well, to no avail, that money has not happened. Nobody has been pushing it to see to it that it get done. And we also want to bring it to the attention of this council, the mayor, and everybody else. When we do Hopkins Street, we want to do it to highway and interstate standards, like it should be. All right, because you know the deal was to do Hopkins Street and turn it over to the city, right? But we don't want to do it substandard because we'll never be able to reclassify ourselves as a highway or stay on the GPS system as a highway 675 once it get to Amador. And that means a lot till we talk about the West End Economic Development with Marlon and their group. All right, they need to be pushing this and work with this to make sure that we keep that highway status classification. All right, that's essential because even if the state do take it back, if we deviate from what highway standards and interstate standards are, we'll never be able to be classified as a highway. And that is our main thoroughfare on the west side of town, all right? And also, it does cover District 3, Mr. Broussard's district, District 2, and District 5, all right? So we all on those particular districts should be pushing for this to have it done, meeting standards of interstate and highway, all right? I'd also like to address the situation that we have right now with other monies that we have on the table or on the way, the swimming pool. we have a proposal to put the swimming pool on Amador. Now, we've been asking for a replacement of our swimming pool in the West End Park for too long. All right, in other words, the money wasn't available. Matter of fact, the mayor and I had that conversation way back when. There was no money available to do it. All right, so Mr. Michael Bell was another one pushing for this, if you all can remember correctly. Yeah, right. We might name it after him, Freddie, if we get it back there, huh? But the point is, we need to get this swimming pool put back, all right? It was the original part of our park in its initial design, all right? Same thing that happened at the city park across the body. Now, this pool is essential. We don't have any facility to teach our kids how to swim, all right? And we don't have people in the low-income area who can afford to bring their kids from West End or the housing on the hill up there on Fulton Street to crosstown to Amador to attend the swimming pool. And I think the swimming pool in its building of the swimming pool, it should be done with 3 feet of water, 4 feet of water, 6 feet of water, and so on. Not just a straight 5 and 6 feet and set roads for Olympic swimming and things of that nature. I heard the mayor mention once that would help the kids at Catholic High and Iberia Senior High swim teams. I have never heard of them swim teams before you said that, Freddie, but whatever the case is, Jesus, you know, we would not like to have you take a pool that was designated to come to the West End when money becomes available and put it on the other end. Because this summer I had a whole lot of people asking why we don't rebuild our swimming pool. The neighbors had swimming pools in the yard everywhere around District 2. All right, kids that's playing 5 and 6 and 7 right next door to my home. 9 kids was trying to get in that pool at one time to swim. All right, and it also keeps people off the street in the summertime. You know, they're home for the summer, right? It keeps you off the street, and you got to recognize swimming is a sport. All right, so I'm asking and I'm asking you all to consider at least let's change this plan. All right, put this pool in the West End Park where it probably belongs. You understand? And please talk to Marcus Bryant, because I would like to speak to him myself. I've called him several times, haven't gotten a return call with respect to the district that this pool should be placed in. All right, because I don't think he represents that area. District 3 and District 4 is right where Amador is at the borderline, right? And it make it too inconvenient for us to transport children across town. And, you know, in our neighborhoods, we used to walk into the pool. Most folks low income, and it's like the housing at St. Edwards and the West End right in the back of that and on the hill, they have to walk to the pool. We used to see crowds of kids walking to the West End Park, all right, to go to the swimming pool, all right, and it does keep them off the street. I also like to address this thing with the sewage. We need to find some relief sometime away for our seniors, all right? They're at home, this sewage user fee is steady going up, and I hear that more from our seniors who we speak to often about what is happening with the sewage user fee going up 2% every year, all right? He said it's killing us. He said right now we're almost paying higher for the sewage user fee than we're paying for the water, all right? He said please speak to that, you understand? So again, I will. And I suggest at this time that we consider setting a flat rate for residents and setting a flat rate for commercial. You understand? And roll with that. We can do the math and know what we're going to have at the end of the year, all right, according to the residents there. That wouldn't be just helping the seniors in District 2. That would be helping the seniors and low-income people throughout the city, all right? This is something we need to consider. I also would like to point out something that I think that we should be instrumental in doing as soon as we possibly can. It's this new Iberia Police Department. We would like to have a police department that has a traffic division as well as a narcotics division. All right, we got drugs flowing in the street, fentanyl killing people everywhere. We got people dying using drugs, not even investigated to see was it poison or fentanyl or something of that nature. No drawing of the blood to you know, but it just right off, it's just a death. You understand? I had one of my best friends, and I know this was a fentanyl or some pill with fentanyl that he took and didn't know better. Dead, but he just dropped him in the grave. You understand? No investigation as to what the cause of death. You understand? Things of that nature. But we definitely need a narcotic division because in our community, everybody knows it is flowing like water. All right? And me, at the same time, what it's doing is killing people. It's disenfranchising us as a people in that community, you understand? And it's constant, and we don't have any enforcement. We have a city, 33,000 people here? But we don't have a narcotic division? Jesus, at least get us 4. You understand? And we can't say that we don't have the money, because if we had money to take from the police department to build a road out at the Pepperplex, you understand, we definitely had the money available to hire such. You understand? So again, these are some of the things I would like to work on. There are other things I would like to state, but I don't want to go on and on, all right? I think I'm trying to keep it within the time frame that we allowed. But I also like to have you all know that, You know, I had a conversation with Miss Peggy Dirac today. She called me. She said, make sure that you let everyone up there know that I endorse you 110%. He said, particularly my people in, you know, the Hopkins Street areas, St. Mary, St. Jude, Corrine Street, Dagg Street, those areas. She said, let it be known. She said, I will endorse you. You know, she said, also, she said, Marlon know that already. I told her, I said, yeah, I'm sure he does. But, you know, but the point is that she's asking you all and everyone within the sound of my voice, TV land, might be listening to, support us, all right, and what we're doing and what we need to do here in the New Iberia. Again, my name is Benjamin T. Myers. I'm number 26 on your ballot here for the City Council seat in New Iberia. I appreciate your vote and support, and thank you all for the time and listening.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, 3C.
Panat Zanaman to announce his candidacy for New Iberia City Councilman representing District 3.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Panat Zanaman. I'm running for City Council seat, District 3. Many of you up here know me and know the work that I've done in New Iberia for the past 15 years. And I'm here running because I want to continue doing that great work and to improve our community. My story started off as on the other side of the world, actually. I was born in a refugee camp in Thailand, and right after I was born, my parents were approved to come here to southern Louisiana, and we made our home here in New Iberia. And it's been a wonderful place to grow up, and my family had the Asia market, a small business growing up, and I was brought up sort of taught with hard work and with innovation and creativity, and you know, building resources and relying on family and building a community. And I'm very proud of that background. I'm very proud of the Lao immigrant and Asian community here in Iberia Parish and where they come from and how they built themselves up here. And I want to use those experiences and those lessons to continue to improve the city and our community. My educational background is in architecture. I went and got my bachelor's in architecture at UL Lafayette, and I went to get my master's in urban design and architecture in Columbia University in New York. I left in 2005 to attend graduate studies, and I returned 15 years ago in 2000 and the end of 2010 to just do all the work that I do and just find ways to give back to the community. I've been involved with several nonprofits as serving on different boards, like the Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, like the West End Economic Development District. Founded my own nonprofit called Envision the Berry, nickname for New Iberia. That would be my first act to try to change the name. Joking. All right. But and other boards like Public Housing and Iberia Parish Foundation and the Bayou Teche Museum. So my experience in the community crosses over a broad spectrum and different areas and sectors of the community. And I think we're going to need fresh thinking, fresh ideas, and people that can pull in from different backgrounds and different experiences. And different partners to make things happen here in our community. In District 3, you know, a big chunk of District 3 is the Admiral Doyle Commercial Corridor. And one of my big issues that I wanted to look at is supporting small business development here in our community and attracting more small businesses into the community. I'm on more of the Hopkins Street end of the Admiral Doyle Corridor, and there's a lot of large commercial spaces there that are just ready for some amazing businesses to come into this city, and I want to do the work to begin attracting more of those businesses to come in and take over those spaces and bring jobs and bring opportunities to all across the city, especially our low-income areas, and more opportunities there. Another big issue that I like to tackle is affordable housing here in New Iberia. Just looking at all the vacant and abandoned lots across the city and the issues that we have with them, trying to bring in partners and private investors and developers to do something with those lots and bring affordable housing. I've been working with some of the council members and some local nonprofit groups and community groups to apply for funding, and I'm happy to say that we applied for $1 million through the Louisiana Housing Corporation a few weeks ago, and we were pre-approved for $750,000 of that. And that took work of bringing people from different parts of the community together to get that approval from the Louisiana Housing Corporation to bring new single-family construction homes to Field Street, to the corner of Field Street and Corrine Street. So that's part of the work that I do, among many other things. I'm a gardener, I'm an urban designer, I'm an artist. Some of you have seen me doing performing arts. I decorate windows down Main Street. I sing show tunes. So I'm basically a person that wears many hats, and that's what it's going to take to, I think, bring the change that we need here in New Iberia. And I'm very happy to do that, and I'm asking for everyone for their support and the people of District 3 to go out and vote for Panat Zanaman, number 30. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 3D. This one's mine.
Mayor Freddie DeCourt to present a city project update.
Okay, we've talked about this quite a few times as a council and mayor, that we wanted to kind of put out everything we've kind of accomplished. But none of us accomplished it by ourselves. I have members of the past council that I invited here. We have some people up here who have served 8 years. We have people that have come for this term. We have people who served 1 term, or one guy who served 7 years, okay? He's the Dustin. So anyway, but I thought that tonight we would quickly review all of the projects, because these were all not done by me or any one of us by ourselves. This was all group decisions. We acted as a team the last council. We've acted as a team this council. And the bottom row, that's reserved for the next council. In other words, we have about 70-something projects. I totally feel that when the next council comes in, this was a good opportunity to look and reflect, but at the same time to begin building the next team. My job is to work with whoever the voters send me, because our vote is always right. And with that, you know, we need to build a new team. Some of our people will be returning, which is wonderful. Some people, and let me tell you, the ones who served 8 years, well, never mind. They are wonderful, okay? They, you know, I won't know what to do when they leave. But tonight was a way to thank our first council, our second council, and to kind of show off our accomplishments, although we have many to go. And we have a lot of things in the works. This just kind of begins that journey of a transition. And again, we didn't do any of this in a vacuum. None of us did this alone. So we have a timeline. I'll just start and go real quick. You know, the first thing we did as a community was to bring back the Mardi Gras parade. Our parades had been canceled due to insurance reasons, and the council had the wisdom, as long as myself, to say we were going to start co-sponsoring events, and I'm very proud to say that that has continued up until today, and we sponsor and do more events and more functions and more festivals than ever before. Cycle Zydeco, and I think they're going to come back in 26, okay? So we're trying to get them back. That was huge for us. It brought hundreds of cyclists here for a couple of days. It kind of spurred some interest, and we actually got to do some bike lanes. We'd like to do more, but them coming was a catalyst, and I'm proud to say they'll be coming back. We proposed a new tax for the police department, got out there and worked and did what we needed to do, because what we had needed change. We formed the National Historic District, actually started on that before I took office. That National Historic District has brought 50% tax credits. Some of the big investors like the Pie Bar, Bambino's, I mean, many of our new restaurants, many of our new developments downtown have taken advantage of these tax credits. We need to have incentives, because the community, you know, we are challenged. We know that we have 30% poverty. We know that surrounding communities' take-home pay is a lot more than ours. Anything we can do to incentivize, to bring development, plus to honor our past. The National Historic District, you know, we have some wonderful architecture. It's spurred walking trails. It's spurred more trilingual plaques. All of that interest in our downtown. If you look in our downtown now, we have a lot of new investment, new restaurants opening, new things coming. But it's all part of the economic engine to create that historic district and to honor it. And so we got that done. Police department started July 1 of 2018. A big day for us. It has been a good catalyst to make a lot of change. We have our challenges, as does every town. We have, you know, things that we need to continue to work on, but that was the start. Church Alley, wonderful little project. I played with that for 16 years. Some things don't move very quickly. Good little project, has spurred some business development and filled an area. Frederick DePury, who incorporated our town, put that little gap so from his house where Mount Carmel was, he could see the church. Now the church moved, so you can't really, the visual's not quite there yet with the church that was built in the 50s. But great little spot. Skate park, we reopened the skate park. It had been closed for insurance reasons. We made a better insurance deal. It is about to be replaced with a very modern skate park that's going in the old swimming pool at City Park. But this was a start of getting, kids something to do and to bring back something that was missing. Doc Voorhees Wing, the museum bought it, donated to the city. Substantial completion of both floors. That happened last meeting. So it shows you how things don't move that quickly. But the museum has expanded. It tells our story. That's something that's been long needed. And again, it's expanding and growing. And that wing is now under substantial completion, so it won't be long. That'll be open to give us more opportunity. Senior Citizen Center, the old fire station. We renovated the fire station in City Park. We actually have a new senior citizens coming to the west end because they've never had that. That's in the works, but this one was accomplished or redone. Tennis courts. We resurfaced the tennis courts in the parks. And as of late, we've been building pickleball courts. George Rodriguez Park, we finally got a sculpture. Our native son, George Rodriguez, honors him. The property was donated. The city developed it. We just finished the last piece of landscaping a month ago. New stores, Hobby Lobby, Rouse's, those were our first incentives. We did a pilot program. I was proud to say I helped to put that together and got them here, and that has been the beginning of getting new stores, getting our tax base up, getting some jobs, giving us some money to come in that is leveraging many of these other opportunities. Veterans Memorial. Our parish and city didn't have a Veterans Memorial, so we designed that, put it together. The first phase of it, Public Works built a lot of it because we want a budget, put that together, and that was the start. The veterans did a wonderful job of raising money, selling bricks. The city chipped in some money and a lot of effort, and we now have a fitting Veterans Memorial. Christmas movie, that was a fun one. Got them to come here after a bunch of negotiating and some help from some local people, put that deal together. It brought a couple $100,000 into town and kind of boosted our spirit. To this day, I think our Christmas decorations and the things we do downtown and throughout our town have been kind of bolstered by that. So that was a good experience, and I still talk to the producer and the director, and we're trying to get them back. Chick-fil-A, that was like huge, okay? That was something that was top secret if they would come in, and it was a bit of an adventure, but it's proven people drive 40 miles to get a chicken sandwich, so it's a good thing. Evangeline sign, that is a historic sign from the 1930s. Owen Southwell was the architect. It's our biggest neon sign that we have downtown. It was restored and, lights us up, and it's really become quite the icon in downtown New Iberia, really for the whole town. We did a master study. I'm happy to say that this master study was not like the other master studies that sat on the shelf that are still in the vault. It created many of these projects. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to tell you that next year we plan on revamping it. I said that it would be a living document, so when the new council comes in, we're going to work again to revamp it, but it has created and more than paid for itself. You're going to fail if you don't have a plan. You can't plan if you fail. So we put this together. And it has, again, been a catalyst for quite a few projects, and we will continue to develop it. Cultural district trails, the historic district trails. We got a grant to create that. It included some lighting. It included some wayfinding signage, some travel head maps. And again, any way we can tell our story in our community, that's the point. Jefferson Terrace drainage. Okay, that's long overdue. Took forever to get that. We fought for that for a long time. We've done two phases, one phase in the first term, one phase in the second. It has greatly helped. There are some areas on the other side, closer to senior high, that it's a real challenge because there's no place to bring the water. What these projects did was bring the water to Bayou Teche. So we spent a few $1 million to at least alleviate what we could and get that flow to Bayou Teche instead of trying to head entirely the other way or really not head anywhere. But that has greatly enhanced that area. We know we have more work to do, but there were two phases of that project. Ross Dress for Less, another one of our successes of getting a good store here that brings jobs and taxes. We did some more wayfinding signage that they're all over town. Before that, you didn't know where the courthouse was, you didn't know where a park was, so they're spread out through town and kind of give you some wayfinding signage so that you know where at least our important assets are. City slips. We were fortunate to apply for money that no one was applying for to do marinas. We took advantage of that, and you plan yourself out of your problems. All of these marinas also fixed other problems. At George Rodriguez, we had a bank that was failing. You couldn't cut the grass. We had no bulkhead. So not only did we get the amenity of the marina, but we fixed our problem. Here behind City Hall, we'll get to that one later, our bulkhead was failing, so we built something new in front of it to hold it up. So those projects were really neat. And again, there was no competition for whatever reason, so we took advantage of it. And the fun thing that happened is all the work, of course, we publicly bid all our projects, all the work went to local contractors. So it was really nice to see subcontractors, general contractors, money that we brought to town, got recirculated in jobs in our community. Liberty Bell, we needed a centerpiece. The veterans started raising money. That was a time that it was time to run for re-election, and by the grace of God, I didn't have a competitor, so I called everybody and said, don't give money to me, give it to the Liberty Bell. And between that and the money that the veterans put up, we could afford a full-scale replica of the Liberty Bell, and that kind of finished off our Veterans Memorial and gave it, something fitting for the centerpiece. Our first road program, we funded this in-house. It was 14 years between road programs. We came up with $12.5 million. We analyzed the streets. We hired our engineers and said, find the worst streets in each district, spend the money as equally as you can, and come back and tell us which streets. And that's basically what we did. We did the worst streets first. We have a road program we'll talk about again, and that's our same philosophy. Utility box wraps, trying to help to tell our story, to show how we're unique. In the African American community, we picked leaders. We all got together and talked about it, and we wrap utility boxes with local history so that our kids know our history, so that we don't lose these people and the huge impacts that they've had to make New Iberia what it is. Halloween parade, that was something new. We formed a Halloween parade. Ours is coming, well, a couple of weekends. But it's the Saturday before Halloween. It's been very successful. It's a good family outing. So that's something we will continue to do, and ours rolls in a couple of weeks. New Iberia sign. We put this up in Bowling Plaza, and we see a lot of people taking pictures, a lot of people utilizing it, so it's a good thing. New playground equipment at West End. We put in new playground equipment because it was needed, and pop the next one. Oh, I thought it was a splash pad. We'll talk about that in a minute. Lewis Street repair. This was our first little road program when we had the $12 million before we got started while the engineers were working. This one intersection with so much development that had come in that area, we got together and fixed it as a quick little project just to kind of show the roads were coming and to fix an area that there was so much investment we really had to. It was terrible. Pepperplex, phase one. We took over the Pepperplex, formed an economic development district. It was something that was in the master study. We didn't know how we were going to do it, but it worked. So we formed an economic development district. We've gotten capital outlay money. We're actually waiting on $2.5 million that we thought we would have had in January. I'm not complaining, it's coming, but that will finish off the Pepperplex, and what a gem it's going to be already with the work that we've done. Little League increased by 100 kids. Things are moving. I really see that it's the future. Brooke is right. We need to do tournaments. They're coming, I promise. We have a new person in charge of our $2.5 million. So I'm hoping that the new person with the state will kind of speed this up so that we can get started. But we're working on it. Visitor Center. We took a bathroom that had been a problem and was really not the best design for the times and for the amount of, our festivals have grown so much, it really wasn't adequate. So we blew the walls out and turned it into a visitor center. It also tells our history. It tells our visitors about our restaurants, our attractions, hits some of our history, hits some of our architectural history since it's in the middle of the historic district. But it really tells the story of the whole town and promotes its restaurants. It won't be long. We'll end up kind of changing some panels and update it with some of the new things that have come. Kayak dock, that was another grant. It was on a piece of land that the city owned by the bridge that really was not doing anything. Now we have another good amenity. Bank Street Park upgrades. We did quite a lot of work in Bank Park. Basketball court, resurfacing, pickleball courts, as well as some lighting upgrades, and we have some more improvements coming there. Founders Park. Founders Park is right outside in an area that was not utilized. We wanted to pay homage to our twin cities. So it tells about all the twin cities that we twin with, tells their history. We just did a little we're about to do a little more landscaping there, but it's a good little area that, again, as you bring tourists in, as you bring your own kids, it helps to tell our story and to tell where our people come from. Splash pad. We did a splash pad in the West End. We actually did a first little splash pad, and then we did an addition to it that added some more features. Dale Street Sidewalk. This was a unique project that the council pulled their money between districts, and Mr. Broussard, you helped too, and pulled off a very nice sidewalk. And it was kind of the start of new sidewalks. For some reason, when I was the pro tem, we did the sidewalk. I pushed for that hard on Parkview. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. But some kind of way along the way, we stopped doing sidewalks. So now we are beginning to develop sidewalks, interconnect neighborhoods. We started with that one, and it was a good project. Aldi's. We got an Aldi's, which I was very surprised. Lafayette got one. A lot of bigger cities, when Aldi's picked to come here, we were elated. And so another good amenity, because all those things that we have, what is happening in our community is people are coming from 25 and 30 miles away, and we are actually, which I'm very proud of this, we're actually short-stopping Lafayette for some things. So the communities of, Erath, Delcombe, Franklin, St. Martinville, Brobridge, even Abbeville, they're driving to town, and the sales tax proves it. I talked to Donnie Rouse. I talked to the people at Chick-fil-A. They can actually keep track of that. They can show, and so I had a meeting with a developer last week. We can show them people are coming, so don't think of our town of 29,000. That's not it. It's what comes to town every day, and those people that are coming from out of town. So we finally have people coming from surrounding areas, which gives us a better tax base and more jobs. East First Street, little bitty small park. We made some improvements there, and they were definitely needed. Santiago Park, and as you'll see, we're actually building some new parks. We'll talk about them in a minute, but we're kind of looking inward and taking our neighborhood parks and doing things to them to improve them. We tried some speed tables in Bank Park to see how that would work. Right now, we're only putting them in parks. This one has given no trouble. I just had some requests, and we're going to talk about adding a few more in the parks. I think we finally found a design and a product that works. We haven't had any lawsuits. We haven't had people claim that they damaged their car. Many of the ones we had in the past were a problem. I think we finally got, the right product. Almontaw Park, another little neighborhood park, made some good improvements there. New training center in the Cliff Oakland building. We took that building in the front. The police use it for training. We have our meetings there. We do use it for other opportunities in the community, and we've had some community meetings there, some town halls. It's a really nice space. It's got good computer equipment. It's rigged up to do exactly that, to be a training center and meetings, but it's something that the PD needed. There's more training that goes on than you can ever imagine, that we were out in other buildings and all over the place. The fire department's used it before, so has many of our other departments for their training. So it's a good space. All-in water separator. I'm embarrassed to say that we didn't have one, okay? We got one now. We meet some codes that we need to. Upgrades to the Steamboat Pavilion, that project is ongoing, should wrap up by the end of the year. That furnished new bathrooms that we took away when we did the visitor center. So we have bathrooms, we have a new stage, we have an addition to the dance floor area. It will allow us not to set up that big temporary stage that takes a lot of the square footage. And let's face it, we had 6 weekends of events that the Sugarcane Festival is bigger than ever, the Gumbo Cook-Off's bigger than ever. There are tons of events, so many community events happen. From churches calling, from groups from all over town that we partner with. That space is well utilized, and these improvements will make it an even better attraction. Sliming Theater, it was looking a little tired, so we did some renovations, carpet, cleaned it up, painting. We actually have some lighting going in now so that we can be a more multi-use thing. It's very dark in there at times. Sometimes you want it that way, but now we'll have some track lighting on dimmers that we can control the space. Little Brooklyn Park, good little project, another little neighborhood park, put a nice pavilion in there, and it's very well utilized. Again, looking internal to our neighborhoods. Felicity's Landing, that was a grant as well. That is the first opportunity we've had in a very long time to have some small tour boats. We are hoping, I've actually been talking to 2 people, I haven't got a commitment yet, where we would have some small tours on Bayou Teche. So that was another good grant project. West End tennis courts, we resurfaced all the tennis courts. They are ready and open and ready for action. Boys and Girls Club, what a really, really good project. This project, we partnered with Boys and Girls Club, brought them to the West End. We now have, for a town of 29,000, we have 2 Boys and Girls Club locations, which is very rare for a town our size, and they're reaching kids and impacting lives. It's a wonderful partnership, and it's a partnership that we will continue to expand on. Bayou Teche Fest, it's a new little festival. We've had it for 2 years. We are starting to attract some antique boats. We are attracting cars. It's a good way to celebrate that, National Paddle Trail Bayou Teche, which runs through our community. And we got more wooden boats. This is our 2nd year, so we've got more wooden boats and more interest. So it's a way to use that amenity that runs through the middle of our town, all that history. City court upgrades on the floor below us. We have completely renovated the courtroom. New millwork, new finishes. We were to the point that the original seats from the 60s that were built here were breaking. You had half the seating flagged off. I mean, you're going to court, but it didn't need to be an embarrassment. We needed to have something that represented. So the courtroom is now really nice. Made a cool deal and bought some pews out of a church in Baton Rouge, had them refinished and recovered, and so we put that together, but now it looks like a presentable courtroom. Love's Truck Stop. We did an annexation, first time the city's annexed in a very long time. Love's Truck Stop is under construction. More jobs and more taxes. Civic Center Marina, that was the last marina project. We did it in phases. Again, it protected our bulkhead, it added some amenities, and it was a good grant. The Bearcat, all right? We're still building a police department. This piece of equipment allowed our SWAT team protection, allowed us to utilize it and work out of it better than we were before. What we had before was not presentable. You do what you have to do, but the PD's 6 years old, and I remind people we're still building. You can't hire. We had no guns, no uniforms, no equipment, nothing. We started 6 years ago with a hope. So it does take a while to build a police department. It does take a while to furnish them and to give them the equipment that they need, but this was a huge step. Sear Gates and MLK, okay, we have done so much work, I can't tell you, this one picture tells no story. We changed every electrical panel, we changed every air conditioner, we roofed every building, we painted all the outside, we've painted most of the insides, we've redoing lighting, we're sprinkling the Sear Gates because it serves as our shelter and probably will be a shelter for the city and the parish for a lot longer. Well, it didn't meet the code. And so we were putting people in there and having to do 24-hour fire watch. It was not really acceptable. So the last phase of that work is the sprinkler system. And we have an item later in the agenda that I'm going to talk about because I see a way that we do have some things we haven't gotten to that I think we could knock it out. And that way before this council left, we would completely have renovated because we've got some bathrooms we need to do. So I have an idea that we'll talk about and flesh out in a future discussion tonight. West End Mural, fun project. We hired a muralist, Jimmy Rink, and he went in and did a mural at the West End Gym up on top of the stage. It's really a lot of fun. It features a whole lot of local people and national people. Pepperplex, we just spent some money and put a digital sign. Not a very good picture, but the digital sign looks a lot better in person, and it was needed. Extension of Queen City Drive. This is a very good project. It will tie in the Pepperplex and give a way out to the light because we couldn't get to a light, so we needed to, DOTD would not let us even purchase our own light. So instead, we put a road in, found a way to cross a canal, and we'll tie into an existing street, and that also is now becoming more valuable than we ever thought because we're talking to some developers who want to develop some property that we would hopefully annex into the city, and this little road is going to be a way for them to get to the light as well. So it's actually going to spur some economic development, but in phase one, the police department would have spent overtime and been out on a very busy highway constantly every time we had a tournament. This was a way that in a 5-year investment, it will pay for itself. Instead, and keep my officers doing other things that were more important and that were not dangerous. Clean canals for this city. Very proud of this project. We are spending $1 million and we are cleaning every canal up to the parish line in the city, and some of them that we can't even find when we ever cleaned them. So that's pretty interesting. So it took a while to get the right-of-ways. We went through a large process. We've bid out the first $250,000 project's complete. The second one is been awarded, and we have 2 more bid packages coming before the end of the year, and that will allow us to have all of our canals in the city cleaned. James D. Burke statue, private citizens raised the money for this. The city did contribute some. He has put us on the map with his Dave Robichaux novels and continues to produce works. And so we honored him because he has honored us. Senior Citizen Center, this is a project. We bought a school. We spent $90,000 buying a school. We spent a little over $200,000, and with the $200,000, we got the first wing about ready. We are finishing it up with about $60,000 with small projects. My hope is in the next couple of months, we get the Senior Citizen Center open. We are waiting on some computers to come in, and we will have a computer lab and a Senior Citizen Center that will be open. This property will continue to be developed over time, and it added to West End Park, and it gives us some amenities that we didn't have, and you have a school that was going to sit there and crumble. Basically had crumbled, so we're putting it back together slowly, but I think it's a very worthwhile community project. Community gardens, we just put them down. We are about ready to launch that, and we'll have our first little community garden. My concept is that we do this in all the parks, but we're about ready to kick that one off. So I'm just proud of that because I think it's the start of a catalyst of more community gardens. Ann Street Park. Okay, the city's building 2 new parks. I'm very proud of that because we haven't built new parks in a very long time, but this council saw the wisdom in doing that, and so Ann Street Park, I was there today, the basketball court's poured, the frame is up the piping is up for the big fence. They were finishing, we met with the landscapers this morning, the last little concrete pour was done, we have exercise equipment, we have playground equipment, and a basketball court coming, but it is under construction. New road program. By the grace of God and our voters, we took a sewer tax and it went away, and we replaced the same tax. It didn't cost any more money, and dedicated to the roads. That is spawning $17.5 million in construction. We're under engineering design now. It takes about a year to design it all because people keep asking me. We will go out for bid, we think, in February. We're doing some core sampling and some other things. We learned some on the 12.5 of some things that we probably should have done engineering-wise, so the engineers have taken a few extra steps so that we don't have any surprises as we kick this off. But by February, we should be out to bid, and we have a huge challenge with our roads, and in the last few years, I think it's drought-related, but we really have had our roads crumble at an even faster rate. But this will help. $17.5 million is probably the most money the city's ever spent on roads in one pass. But along with the 12.5 that we spent, we're making a dent. Skate park. Skate park's coming. The old swimming pool in City Park was very much beyond repair, but we had a nice big concrete hole there. So our David Island designed a skate park, and it's advertised for bid, and the bids are coming real soon in the next couple of weeks. So we'll have it bid out and get it under construction. Doc Voorhees wing, that we just did substantial completion on it. Again, as we talked about earlier, we purchased it very early on. You see how slow things go. But first phase did the bottom half of the bottom floor and did an addition of a shell. The second phase that we're just finishing now finished that first floor shell and finished the second floor. So it's going to add that amenity to the museum. Crime cameras. We're in the process of spending about $2 million. We've got crime cameras going up all over town. They are still about 30 to go up. And then we were graced with Governor Jeff Landry gave us $250,000, and so we'll be putting probably 30 more cameras in addition to the ones we're putting up. So that's in the works as well. The crime camera system is monitored 24 hours. We are looking and hiring people for that right now. We do have people in place, but we need to add to that as the system goes up. But it's already made some big contributions, and I think it will continue to. $4 million sewer improvement. Okay, this project redoes all the headworks, gets us increased capacity, and gets us ready for the sewer coming from First Solar. We funded this all in-house. We turned down $5 million from the state because we would have had to raise our sewer user fees. Again, all of us up here realize that 30% of our population live in poverty. We were not willing to raise the sewer user fee where the state said we had to, so we gave up the $5 million, and that hurt. I mean, we have a lot of sewer need. People complain about the sewer rates. I don't think that they realize we're a very old town, and our sewer system is, although we were under a consent decree, and a previous mayor built a sewer plant, and thank God she did, but we have tons of problems with our lines. We have old clay pipes everywhere. We have water intrusion. we have issues that we are addressing, but it's very expensive. But this $4 million we funded in-house. We got a $2.5 million loan. The rest of the money came from internally, and this will get us ready for the capacity that we're going to need that's coming from First Solar. City Park trail lighting, we went ahead and redid all the heads and changed the lighting in City Park on the walking trail, and it has greatly helped. We got more to do in all the parks, but this was a good project. Sear Gate sprinkler system, we kind of talked about it earlier. We, to keep our capacity where we want it and to meet all the codes and to be that shelter that we unfortunately will probably have to keep being for a while. This sprinkler system will get us legal and, give our people the protection that they need. Bell's, another good store that popped in, filled an empty spot. Again, we're doing very good with big boxes, and those supply taxes and jobs and bring people from other communities. I do know that we need to continue to support our small businesses and our existing businesses, but all of these big boxes do bring some opportunity and some revenue. Another big sidewalk, Highway 14 sidewalk, that was poured, I think, 2 weeks ago. They're wrapping it up now, but that's in another area that we had a lot of walking traffic. It links to hotels, it links to Pepperplex, it links some restaurants, and it was needed. New fire truck. Okay, this is a $1 million ladder truck. Our existing ladder truck is 50 years old. We have a fire rating every year, and we miraculously, some kind of way, we held our fire rating with a 50-year-old truck. This truck was $1 million. If you bought it right now, the chief told me it'd be 1.6. So when we locked in the price, it took over a year to get it, probably a year and a half. When we locked the price in a year and a half ago, they've gone up, $600,000. But that truck, let's hope it's around here for 50 years. One block at a time, we're kicking that off. Every meeting you hear us talking and trying to wrap up our ARPA projects so that we can get them all committed for the end of the year. We're going to talk about some of that later tonight. This one redoes 50-something houses and does various things that people ask for. Not everybody was able to be selected, one from money or from requirements. We're taking the applications to the people that we could not service and bringing them to social groups and other organizations that do for the community to try to continue helping them. Business development grant, another thing we did with ARPA. This is for small businesses. We are going to discuss some of that tonight. But that ARPA money, again, is going back into the community. Bambino's. Bambino's is a brand new restaurant, renovated a building, took advantage of the historic tax credits and brought jobs and businesses and hamburgers. All right, that's kind of it, but it gives you an overview of what the first council, the second council, and the people who have been here, and I can't thank everyone who we have people in the audience who are council members. I can't thank you all enough, and this is where I again pitch that whoever the vote is sent, we're going to be a team. We're going to work on a master study to continue what we've done. That bottom row is for you, and we're going to work together with everybody who's up here to continue the progress and continue to work because we've got a lot more to do. That's about it. Thank you. Questions, comments?
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, good job, everybody.
Everybody good?
Bring the old council up here?
What's that?
The old council.
We could. Yeah. Why don't the old council come up? Yeah, that's a good
People can
idea.
recognize
That's a
them.
good idea. Councilman Dustin Swear. Councilwoman Hadley. What's the last name?
Name them out.
Natalie Lopez. Okay, I didn't know. I mean,
That was not a whisper.
Councilwoman Sherry Gibbons. Y'all come up. We are live.
We are live.
These are the council members from the first term. Can't thank y'all enough. And I don't know if this is unusual to do this, but y'all contributed for us to get and do the decisions we made. We couldn't have done it without you and as a team. And then my council members that are up here now, and like I said, some of you have served 8 years with me, which is just amazing. I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. Some people are leaving, they're termed out, some people are running, we'll just have to see what happens. But it's our political process at work, and how you start is how they stay. If you start as a team, if you start that you're gonna contribute, that everybody's vision and input is important, it stays that way. But again, couldn't do it without y'all, couldn't do it without everybody up here. Thank y'all.
And look, I wish y'all all the best of luck, and
Y'all have always had my full support, you know that.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank y'all.
Meeting to go to? You have a meeting to go to?
All right, I appreciate it. We're moving on to item 4A.
Ordinance number 2024-2020, ordinance number 2024-25, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement with the Downtown Neighborhood Association related to the Neighborhood Investments American Rescue Plan Act project.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Marlon Lewis and Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing seen none, I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Now, I need the main motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and Councilwoman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion on this item? This item will take the Masonic Lodge, we'll do a contract, we'll do some renovations, because the neighborhood association will be utilizing this building. They will have an office there, they will have a small computer lab there for kids and for the neighborhood, they host their meetings there. And the Masonic is such a institution on that end of town and does so much. I mean, I go to Gardu 129 there every year, I go to other meetings and functions and neighborhood association, the lodge meets there. It's just really a great building that's part of the Ann Street community that needs a little love, and we have the opportunity to do that. We'll be replacing the air conditioning system. We did note in the walkthrough that we need to replace some entrance doors, and we need to do some exit lighting, but all of those things will help. But the main focus is that it gives the neighborhood association a real building to serve the neighborhood. So, questions, comments?
I would just say, most of you know I'm a member of the Downtown Neighborhood Association. Just want to thank the members for agreeing to do this project with the Masons, because it really is going to make a difference to the people in the community. They'll finally have kind of like their own little community center back. It's always been there, but you know they haven't been able to utilize it, and so we're excited about using the money that we were allocated to help the Masons get this building back into commerce.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Well, the Masonic Building has been a staple in the downtown community for years and years, and it was a big part of the community way back in the 70s when, you know, we had proms and other things like that there at that building. And it has since, you know, taken a little downturn, put it that way. But I'm very happy that the city is, and the Downtown Association is going to invest in the building, because it's much needed in that area. And it has been useful in the past, and it will continue to be useful in the future.
Thank you. Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines.
Peter, you gonna recuse yourself?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Good, good. Okay.
Hit abstain button. There you go.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I didn't see it later.
All right, now we go to 4B.
Ordinance number 2024-26, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of the Sugarcane Festival building and certain surrounding immovable property in the New Iberia City Park, and further authorizing the mayor to execute any agreements necessary to carry out the intent and purposes of this ordinance, all contingent upon Iberia Parish government action authorizing the transfer of said property.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
So moved.
Councilman Dan Dahl, Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there anyone for public comment? Hearing, seeing none, I need a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Now I need the main motion.
Motion.
Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte, I don't know who was second. Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Any discussion on this item?
So,
Jeff has, I'm gonna call on the city attorney
I
first.
just want to clarify, so we would take the Sugar Festival building and the remainder of the 15-point-something acres that extends from Parkview to the Bayou. We would not be taking the Armory building or the Veterans Memorial Building, and we probably have to grant some rights, ownership, or access or something through the city park property, the old park property, if you call it that, to the Veterans Memorial so that the parish can have access. Right now, they're just using that space. We'll have to formalize that in some way.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be honest with you guys. The conversation we had 2 weeks ago kind of stayed on my mind for the last 2 weeks about this building, and mainly because I guess I don't see a clear path forward with this building. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that, one, we're not guaranteed the money from the state yet, which means that if they don't give it to us, this becomes a burden on the citizens of New Iberia. Today, it's a burden on the parish. There's 77,000 people in the parish, and they can't keep the building up. And so what makes us think that 29,000 people are going to be able to support this building moving forward? We have a little money now, but this, 5 years from now, if Freddie's not in office, this is going to be a burden on the taxpayers. Even with the money that the parish is able to make on the building, they weren't able to maintain it. So I don't know what the appraised value of the building is, but we know that you got to at least have 10% set aside every year to keep this building running the way it's supposed to. And so my fear is not overtaking of the idea of what we could do with the building. It is about maintaining this building moving forward, because we're now asking a smaller group of people, smaller tax base, to maintain a building that the parish couldn't maintain. And so when I look 5 years, 10 years down the line, I don't see a path forward with this building unless, we get a huge influx of money. And I'm not, unfortunately, I don't have vision of that far ahead and what the tax base is going to look like, but also neither do all of us. And I'm a little worried about making this commitment to take on this responsibility, to add another burden. And I know we're doing a lot of work in parks. We were lucky because, God forbid, COVID was terrible, but it did bring an influx of money to the city of New Iberia, which allowed us to do a lot of work in the city. But 5, 10 years down the line, are we going to be in the same situation as the parish where we can't maintain this building? So I caution us to think long-term about whether or not we think this is the right decision and whether or not this is going to be a burden on our taxpayers that the parish couldn't even handle with 77,000 people paying taxes. Now, obviously, I know it's not 77,000, but there's quite a bit. They have more households than we have. And so I don't know, that bothered me for the last couple of weeks. And so I felt like I needed to say it, because usually I'm pretty good. I know I make up my mind about a decision and I move forward. There's only one other decision that I regret making, being on this council. And last week, voting to move forward with this is one of my decisions. Now, I know, the vote's probably going to go the other way, but I felt like I needed to say this because I wanted everybody to think we're not just talking about while the mayor's in office. And, Mr. Mayor, I think you do a great job. You have a lot of vision. That's one of the things that's very exciting about being on this council, because you are a visionary. However, when you move on, the next person may not have that vision, and is this going to be a burden on our taxpayers? I'm just worried about that. I don't see a path forward today. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Well, I think, I understand the concern you have, but until we have a building or a property, we cannot get money to fund it. And I think it has not been promoted. Look, just go back to the things he presented tonight. The Steamboat Warehouse was just a building we were gonna tear down. But look at it now, everybody wants to use it. So I think it's an asset, but it has to be updated. And I think the funds can be coming from the government with the grants and that, but you can't get money before you have the structure. And I think promoting it, like you said, what can happen in 4 years, 8 years, we can't predict it, but I feel we can't hold back because we can't take that chance. And I think it's gonna be an asset. I really believe that. I think we are starving. We don't have a location that we can offer to the community. I go there, the few times I go there is for events, and it really brings in a lot of people. I think with the parish not continues to put money into it to upgrade it is why they could not rent it as they could in the past. And I think, like you said, with Freddie's ideas and that for at least the next 4 years, I think we can maybe get a standard where we can rent it more. But yeah, we can't predict 10 years, we can't predict 6 years, we can't predict tomorrow. But I think it's something that's such an asset, among other things we did, or y'all did, everybody did, that people never thought would happen, and it happened. I mean, I just think we got vision here, and I think you got the right council here. And if a new council comes in, we can't say what they can and cannot do. But I think there's some things with some grants and some tax credits with this building, the history that we don't really all know yet, that can be put into this for operation later. But like I said, I don't know everything. I just think it's something that I'm excited about, and God help it. I hope it succeeds. We all want it to succeed. We always have that concern about, seeing what we can afford it. But I'm willing to take that chance, And it is in my district, so I'm gonna try to really hard to get money for it as long as I can. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So, Didi, your points are well taken. I think, everything you said is very valid in concern with the building. But like I said last meeting, there's no risk. I mean, there's no risk, there's no reward. And, for us not to take the risk and for the building to sit there and continue to dilapidate in the middle of our city park is unacceptable in my opinion. I think, the rewards and the vision and the thought process could have some detriment to the future councils, but also could have huge rewards. And I'm not no predictor, but I worked very diligently to accomplish those goals. And we're faced with other challenges. I mean, at Pepperplex, we didn't have the vision that was going to be where it's at today. We got the money. Could we come across hurdles on this project? Absolutely. We probably have some hurdles to stumble across. But to let it continue to do what it's doing right now in the middle of our park, I just can't foresee us letting that opportunity pass by.
Yes, sir.
We talked about Loves. We appropriated some land, it's in the city now. How much is that land worth? That 15 acres, whatever the acres they're gonna give us, that's gonna be in the city now. And not just the Sugarcane Festival building, Mr. Mayor. With your ideas, what else we can put in there? That we own the land now. We're always looking for places to accumulate land that's gonna be put in the city. And I think that's gonna be an asset to the city one day. And I think some kind of way, like y'all, we have to save that old building. And we don't have any other building. It's embarrassing to watch all our people, the chamber, go to other places. We have to build this building a little bigger to absorb what we need to do. And it's the highest, I don't know, I heard it from some other people, it's the highest spot in Iberia. And we do get enough room in there, and you do fix up the other building with you're putting the sprinklers and all that in there. Whenever we need help, Iberia people, we know where to go. We can go, at least keep out the water. But in a big way, I think that's gonna be an asset of that land. It's gonna be the city's land now. How much it'll be that land's gonna be worth, and other things you can do on that land to go forward in Iberia. But I think, Mr. Mayor, you're gonna make something out of that Sugarcane Festival in the next 4 years that we'll be proud of.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with everybody, but I definitely got to agree with Dee Dee, Ms. Reed, Councilwoman Reed. I thought about that, Councilwoman. I'm telling you, I gave you high praises on your leadership and being a builder, and I said, under this mayor, and then when I got in my car, maybe a day later, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, he's not going to be this mayor forever. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I talked to some people in this community that worked with you, and that's who I was talking to about it. And it's true. It's like, I'll put it to you this way. You've been gambling, and I've been betting on you for 7 years. So it seems like a short-sighted vision because you got 4 more years, regardless. But I think I'm gonna bet with you on this one too, and then I'll just have to, you know, meet you at the little place where you collect at, where you pay up. But I like the 15 acres. The person I talked to also talked about the 15 acres. You don't turn down 15 acres. You don't turn down 15 acres. My family got a little property, and they offered me some property, just you know, and I was like, you know, somebody said, "What you gonna do with it?" I said, "It's free. I'm taking it." You know, and so, you know, it wasn't all the way free, y'all. But anyway, I agree with you, Dee. That was the only thing I thought about, is that will the next mayor, unless I run and just call him every day and ask him what he do in this situation. You know, that's not a campaign commercial either, but unless I run again and call him every other day and say, "Hey man, what are we gonna do in this situation?" I'll be able to call you, Freddie. I walked in Freddie's office. He don't remember this. He may have, because he got to remember. I walked in his office, the old gas station, and I saw all of the stuff he had in there. And me and him a lot alike. I told him that I'm a hoarder. I don't know how to throw nothing away. And we repurpose everything. And my little brother called me a hoarder, and then one day, say, "Marlon, you remember that thing you had in the house we saw, and you still got it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I need it." I said, "You see?" And so I understand that mind, and I gotta support that opportunity. And it is big for the community to say that the city of New Iberia owns the sugar cane. Everybody thought we owned it anyway. And another thing about government, give a little 101. We all know, and a lot of people out there know, people don't even know what government really does. They blame us for what we're not successful at, and they give credit to somebody else. You follow me? So they think we own it anyway. We're going to get the blame anyway, Didi. If that building become an eyesore, we're going to get that blame anyway. Trust me, people not going to read all of this here up here tonight. Thank you, Freddie. They wasn't here for this. From 2017 to 2024, they wasn't here. You know, so that's just the way people are. So take the building and let's roll with it. And train the next mayor to do what you do. Or just answer your phone and tell him what you would do.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So I agree, it is risky, of course, as is everything we do, but we have 4 years to make it better, to market it, and get people to want to rent it out. If we don't do it, the alternative is, like everyone else is saying, it's just gonna rot, I guess, because if the parish isn't able to fix it or willing to fix it, we're gonna get the blame for it, like Marlo said, for it just sitting there rotten, because people are gonna say it's all our fault. I'm just hoping for the best. The mayor's gotten us pretty far, you know, at just different projects and finding grants to help out with a lot of stuff. So, but I get what you're saying, Ms. Didi. It makes sense. But I think we do still need to take it off their hands if they're still willing to give it to us. Where do we stand with that?
They're working on it.
They're working.
I think that at the next meeting.
It's a process.
It's a process, but I think at the next meeting, there's a vote to make it come our way. And then there's a lot of legal work to be done and a few hurdles here or there to go through. And that's why we have a great city attorney and who
Working on it.
does a lot of real estate.
Okay.
And he's working on it. So,
I just wasn't sure how close we were. You know, we were sitting here talking about it again and,
Yes,
you know, just don't know if it's ever gonna be finalized. I know things take a while.
yeah, they do. Yes, ma'am.
Well, just like we said, all the things up here that we did over the past 7+ years, almost 8, a lot of the things that you see will need upkeep also. So we have to make sure that we're able to do this as well as take care of that building. You know, here in New Iberia, we have a lot of dilapidated properties. And if that would happen to the Sugarcane Festival building, that would just be awful right there, right behind our Civic Center, you know, right downtown. You can see it right across the bayou, you know, just falling apart. So as a city, if the parish can't do it, we do need to pick up that slack. And I think what I heard when I was at the meeting on Wednesday, you know, they're willing to do it because they don't want to see it just go down either. And it's been a staple in the community as well. And it's been used by a lot of different entities. And I think we can really make it work. We just have to do that projection for cost of what it's going to be, you know, in the future, which is like everything else that we have to do. Maintenance is important, because if you let it go down too far, then it's going to cost a whole lot, you know, in order to bring it to where it needs to be. So we can keep up with, take it from where it is to where we can use it, and then preferably beyond that. And we can do a lot with it and maintain it as it is and beyond. Thank you.
All right, I guess it's my turn. I can safely say that every one of your comments, my head is a scary place, okay? But every one of your comments is in my head, okay? If you don't think that over the course of 2 years ago, when the parish president first offered it, and then we've been through a whole lot of things since then, if you don't think that I haven't had every one of these thoughts in my own head, I have. But just like this 70, I think there's 75 projects, each one of these came with risk. Each one of these came with the unknown. And every time I sweat with the same thing. Can we pull this off? Should we pull this off? Is this gonna, can we make this work? Okay? So I know it's a risk. The idea of it sitting, if they, for whatever reason, okay, the parish can't afford to invest in it, they're not going to want to spend the $700,000 to tear it down. They're not going to want to, you know, if they're not willing to invest in it now, or can't. I mean, I'm not pointing fingers. It has been, it's 74 years old, built in 1950. It's been a staple of our community for a very long time. Do I think it's going to have some challenges? Oh, yeah, I do. Am I already looking for money? Are we already looking for grants? Are we already talking to capital outlay? Have I already hired Richard Minville? Have I already sent in estimates and, you know, drawings and everything else? Yeah. We're working as hard as we can to get money from the state. We're looking for grants. We have a little pot of money, and you're right, we don't have enough to do everything. At the flip side, the idea of owning that property has value in the middle of our city, in the middle of our park, our largest park. To allow it to just sit there and fall apart. Demolition by neglect, that's what it's called. Mm-hmm. To just allow it to fall apart in the middle of our park really is not an option. Think of, because everybody's right, everybody thinks the city owned it anyway. Think of every time we bring somebody here, the most drastic thing we do is demo somebody's property. Think of every time we pop up a demo property, okay? It's just like I'm constantly on our people, cut the grass, because every time you send a grass ladder. So we as government, I don't want to be blamed, and I don't want that in the middle of the park that people are going to say, you know, why should I tear mine down, or why should I fix mine, or why are you on my butt when you look at what's in the middle of the town? It's a huge building. It's too big to let it fail. I mean, it has been an icon for a long time. Do I think that all the parish functions that happen there now will continue to happen? Yes. Do I think that there has not been, for whatever reason, there hasn't been a lot of marketing? You know, when I'm pretty old, but when I was younger, a whole lot of things happened there. There were concerts there, there was wrestling there was boxing there was, I mean, I've been to everything over there. There were tons of events, okay? Over time, it's just kind of languished, and it's to the point that it's hard in the shape that it's in right now to go and have an event. I mean, there's air conditioning problems, there's issues. So we're going to take the money and we're going to invest it, and then you're right, we are going to have to market it. It is going to have to be, it is a challenge to bring that building back. One, I think we can. It is my skill set. That is what I do for a living. So I feel we can. The next piece is going to be to market it and to expand its use. We have to think in those terms. We have to find ways to stop people from going to Cade for every event. We have to stop people that, you know, from every organization we have doesn't have functions here. Right. But it's not marketed here. You could cut the price in half for the local agency if you had to and get them in there. Nothing like that is done. You're going to have to say, okay, we'll sponsor if you do 5 a year. In other words, you're going to put some packages together. You're going to say, if you'll do 5 events a year, this is how we're going to market it. You market it like you do your business. So that hasn't been done. Do I think it's easy? No, no. This is I think putting the police department together was a huge challenge. I think taking over the Pepperplex was a huge challenge. And I think this one is. Many of these projects, they all had bumps in the road. You know, I don't get up here and whine about anything, because when you take something on, you bite it, you got to chew it. But there's not a project up here that hasn't had me up at night or thinking, how am I going to pay for this, or this went wrong, or I didn't see this change order come in, or we got into it and it's not like we thought. That happens on almost every project. It happens on every one of my construction projects. It's just a fact of life that if you're going to take an old building and you're going to renovate it, it's going to be a ride, and not always a smooth one. But I think we can do this. I didn't say it's going to be easy. I do think we will get some money from the state. I think that I'm not saying I'm going to get it all at once. We did the museum. We spent almost 3 point something million in the museum. Look at, by this very chart, when we started and when we finished. It's years later. It's 6 years later, 7 years later. Do I think that we can turn that around in a week, in a month, in a year? No. Do I think that, Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and I have so many discussions about the Pepperplex, okay? We took that on, 3 years ago? And we're still working on it. It's taken the state from January, when our money was approved, and we still don't have the 2.5 million. Does government move slow, and do we rely on the state for funding? Yeah, I can't tell you that within 6 months we're going to have that place up and running. I can't make that promise. I can tell you in 6 months I'll be trying as hard as I am today. So there is some risk to it. I think there is a reward. I do see that building can be marketed. That building can be a contributing factor to our whole economy. I mean, it helps with our culture. Anytime you can pull those threads of memory that people have been going to that building for 74 years, anytime you can look at those dance teams that have been there, that now they're on the grandkids, okay, from the grandmother, the mother, and now the granddaughter's dancing there. You pull all of those threads of memory, like I call them, you market that building, people are going to utilize it. And then we as a community are becoming, maybe not fast enough, but we're becoming more and more diverse. You have people coming from all parts of town, utilizing downtown, utilizing all of our parks. You got things crossed up and mixed up and wonderful in ways that we've never had before. Well, that building is a real opportunity. Let's market it to, like I always say, I'm the mayor for the whole town, let's market it to the whole town. There are many different functions that could occur there. So do I think it's going to be easy? Can I sit up here tonight and tell you I have all the answers? I cannot. And everything that you brought up is either a benefit, an opportunity, or a pitfall. I totally agree. I can't make you do it. You know, we're a team. How you vote is how you vote. And I totally understand your concerns and everything that everybody's voiced. But I think it's a worthwhile adventure to go on. I think that there is a risk, but I think that there's also the potential for a reward. So nothing risk, nothing venture, nothing gain. Marlo is right that I'm a bit of a gambler, but I think if you don't take any risk, you don't get any reward. Do I want to be the community that we were before I got here? And it's not just me, it's y'all. I didn't do this tonight to say that it's me. Do I want to be the community before we got here, from the time I got here, versus what I am now? No, I don't want to go backwards. We have our flaws, but I think we've made some advances, and I think it all came with risk. So for me, I'm willing to take the risk. Anybody else? No? Well, let's see where we were. We did a motion. We did, what's that? So now it's vote. Okay, I just want to make sure I did it right. So vote your machines. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thanks for all of the input. All right, 5A.
Resolution number 24-126, a resolution awarding contract to Paul J. Olive for the American Rescue Plan Act One Block at a Time 1 project, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Marlon Lewis and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. This is a $66,000 contract. He will be our eyes and our ears and formulate the scope of work for 1 block at a time so that we can get started. Good evening.
Good evening.
So questions, comments for David?
I got one question.
Yeah, sure.
I know we had a timeline to get these applications in and approve them.
Yes.
Do we have a timeline to finish the?
We have 2 years to start. We have to have the timeline of commitment by the last day of
Right.
'24. But we have 2 more years to spend the money.
Okay, so the project's gotta be finished in 2 years?
Yes.
Okay, and it's 55 homes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
With various, things
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, David, don't take this the wrong way, I'm just being sincere with you. Can you handle the workload? Because I asked you that.
Absolutely.
All right, because this
Absolutely.
is a big project.
I understand. We are already looking at how to group these into bids.
Okay.
There's going to be some legwork. Go and look at these properties, but we're in town. It's not going to be a big deal.
No, I just looked at the scope
Yeah.
of the project and said, it's pretty big.
And David and I have been talking about how we could group roofs together, we could group handicap
Sure.
ramps together, and the more that we kind of look at it, I think we got a manageable plan.
Our firm does a lot of commercial work, but we also do a lot of residential work. So this isn't anything that's unusual for us.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So, David, in the description of work, one of the things you say is that if the structure requires moderate to significant renovations, yada, yada, yada. So kind of tell me what would be moderate?
So we would, particularly this is with the roof project.
Okay,
We want to try to pinpoint as many things that could be signs of bigger issues once the roof is uncovered. And that's the hardest thing to predict. But there are little clues that we can find. If there's any deformation in the roof or some obvious rot on the soffit and in the rafters and things like that, that can lead to some bigger structural issues that we would have to, make a recommendation if we think could be a can of worms, basically. So-
okay. And I'm asking a question I wanted to understand, but also I want the residents to understand as
Yeah.
well. Because as you go into this project, they're gonna think, well, why can't my roof be done? What do you mean it's moderately
Right.
messed up or something?
Right, so there's definitely could be structural. We want to probably build in little contingencies for the roofers to have, a certain percentage that you're going to probably have to change plywood and things like that. Old houses just require that extra upgrade whenever you pull the roof off. You actually have to look at the decking and make sure it's suitable because you can't nail into rot,
Right.
It's just going to be a weak point, so.
So do you have like a percentage of,
That's why we're holding back that $100-something thousand.
Right.
In other words, that for the 30-something roofs, we are holding back that money as a contingency because if we find something, you can't tear off somebody's roof and not
and
fix
then
it.
not fix it?
You know,
Okay,
so,
Right.
okay,
but
cool.
we also have 15 alternates, 15, right? 20. We have 20 alternates. People will be called finalists until we go through all of this process.
Okay.
But we have 20 alternates in case there is a roof that we just can't do. If
Okay.
then we go to an alternate. But thinking of that is why we have a pot of money sitting aside and why we have so many alternates, because that, could happen.
Right, I just wanted to make sure we.
Understand.
Yeah, what we mean when we say moderate, I mean, everybody understands when it's bad. I mean,
Yes.
but when you say moderate,
Yeah, no, that's,
we need to have an understanding of what that means, so people know that if a certain percentage of your roof is really, really,
Yeah.
bad,
yeah.
then that means you're not gonna be a candidate.
Right, and I haven't looked at the candidates yet in full detail, but we'll start to see a picture.
Oh, yeah,
Whenever we look at the houses, and we'll see ones that are gonna be better than others for sure.
absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor,
yes, sir.
and did we try to select homes, because we really didn't look at the homes that's like talking about.
We've never
Right.
looked at a name
So
of
that's a
anyone.
big deal there.
And we follow the rules. In other words, we put deadlines in place. We kept the deadlines. We didn't look at any names. We set a procedure up that they got graded. Our clerk
Point system?
did a point system, and we, that's how we did it.
Right, right. So I guess what I'm saying is, to gauge what we may consider something that we just couldn't touch, is it fair to say that if we thought that this house was gonna take $15,000 to do the roof and now it's gonna be $35,000 to do the
That
roof,
could
then that
happen.
could,
But we
Probably
don't,
will
that's why we're hiring David to do
Right.
it. In other words, David, his firm, and he and his staff runs around and looks at each one and assesses it before we start.
Good.
Because there is some risk to this. That seems to be the word of the night, but there is some risk to doing these projects.
Okay,
Notification.
that's helpful, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, what's the date of the assignment?
29.
Yeah, so the 29th, and we'd love all of y'all to come. On the 29th, we'll have the finalists there and the alternates there. We're also gonna we gotta talk about that in a minute, we're gonna do the business development grants that same night.
At what time, do you know?
We have
5:30?
4:30 and 5:30. 4:30 is
Okay.
the business development grants, and 5:30 is the one block at a time.
October 29th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, she gonna send something.
Yeah, and we're trying to, we're under the gun to get all this committed before the end of the year.
Did the letters go out, notification letters go out?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, trying to
Excellent.
stay on, some kind of schedule, because we only got so much time, and my staff is not large. Anyway, we getting it. Questions? Any other questions or comments? Okay, we got a motion and a second. Please vote your machines. Thank you. All right, 5B.
Resolution number 24-127, a resolution awarding contract to Paul J. Olive for the community center's restrooms upgrades project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Okay, before we go further, I'd like to explain this one. I have $20,000 left in my budget for this year. The one thing we didn't touch, we alluded to that earlier, the one thing that we haven't as a group got to do is all the restrooms at the gyms. We have not upgraded the fixtures, we have not upgraded them, we've done everything else, but those bathrooms are haunting us. We kept them till the end because they were ugly, but they functioned. All right, the roofs had to be changed, the air conditioning have to be changed, you can go through everything we did. They were the lowest priority because they at least still work. Now they're the highest priority because they stick out like a sore thumb, and they're the only thing in these gyms that we haven't gotten to. So what I want to do, if you'll allow me, is take the money that I had left in my budget, hire them to do the architecture for both the gyms, okay? My next move, I have two things. I always hedge my bet. Already talking to Capital Outlay, already talking to my representatives. They're not that keen on the $200,000 we asked for to redo those bathrooms. If you remember, I asked for it last year, and they told me no, we didn't get it. I do know that they want to fund infrastructure. We've been blessed that the state has funded so much parks for us. We're gonna have some ARPA money left. We are, if you look at the demo grant, we had 450,000. We filled the first $500,000 slot. That was money from the state. The 450, it's not filling up. We're getting some. We sent out letters. We've pushed it harder than we ever have. We're running out of people who freely want to say, yes, I want to tear this down. So we're gonna have a pot of money there. If we don't allocate it by the last day of the year, we can't spend it. So that money's sitting there. We have some money in different little pots that we didn't quite reach. We didn't spend it. We have a little here, a little there, a little here. If we combine all of that, before we risk losing it, we would have enough money, if this council wants to do that, to renovate those bathrooms. And to me, if, we were very fair with the ARPA, we extended it through town all over, we spent the money fairly in each district, this is the last way that additional money could be spent equally and fairly and would affect all our citizens. Because the one thing that I can say when I sit up here is everybody in our community ends up at one of our community centers at some point. Could be for a political deal, could be for family, could be for friends, could be for recreation, pickleball, whatever. All walks of life of our community use those gyms. So tonight, we're just voting right now on the architecture to let him start. But there is an element that we have to move, because if we do this, we gotta bid this out before you gotta have a contractor. So this means if this is the route we go, we pay them to do the plans, and then I'm coming at the next meeting or the next meeting, I'm waiting for the skate park to bid, because if it goes over a little bit, I have some money to put into it. That's the last big bid that we have. So I'll know in maybe another meeting how much of that pot we have left. And at that point, I didn't want to waste time, and I'm going to ask him to rush on this if you approve it. So he'll get the plans together, and it's basically just fixtures and finishes. We're not moving anything. It's not a hard, we've already talked about it, it's not a hard plan for him to put together. But then I'd know we were doing it, I'd know my budget, I could run the advertisements, and we could put it out to bid and have it committed before the end of the year.
So before we say we're not moving anything, that front bathroom in the West End Park, that ladies' room, there's not enough space in that little, you've got to expand that somehow. So please take a look at that.
Okay.
Well, we will.
That's a problem.
Well, no, there's one in Sear Gates too that's so tiny in the
Yeah,
front.
I mean, you can't even
that was built
get
with
in there and sit properly.
Yeah, well, the codes were very different then. Yes, sir.
I think you missed on one point, and you mentioned earlier, is that I mean, at the city park center, if we use it for evacuations, and those bathrooms are far, they're not even accommodable.
Right.
And I've seen us put portalettes outside, and that's just, we gotta fix it right, we gotta invest in it. If we're gonna truly call it an evacuation center, we have to fix the
Well, we
bathrooms.
choice.
Yeah, we have to fix the bathrooms.
Yes, sir.
So, y'all can go ahead, we don't need an engineer to redesign the bathrooms. Y'all can do that?
Yeah, this is mostly a finishes
It's-
and
yeah.
fixtures upgrade.
So they all gotta meet the new standards, ADA and all that? Because handicap and that.
So we're not changing
Let him
the
answer.
actual restroom configuration
Right.
dramatically. What we're doing is just evaluating it from more like a finishes
Yeah.
cosmetic standpoint. You get new tiling, new painting,
New fixtures.
new toilet, but it's the same location.
See, if we keep everything in the same location and we don't change anything else, we're good.
Except for maybe that door.
Well, and maybe a
Look at
door
that.
or
There's some
a,
demo
yeah,
components,
yeah.
That door.
Those
mean-
restaurants have been sort of demoed and renovated over the years and remodeled, and it's just good to get it cleaned up. This isn't a project that's new for us. We've done this on Iberia Parish School Board
Cool.
on several properties. They didn't change any toilet locations or anything, but it refreshened them, and they look great and they smell better. too.
Yes.
So,
That would be the other thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I think, I think you're correct. I don't think these even have ventilation fans.
Yeah, and we can evaluate that.
Yeah, please
Yeah.
do that.
And I think, like I said, I think we're gonna have a good amount of money where
Yeah.
we could do them the right way. And we really are, as hard as we work, we're gonna run out of time. So this, to me, was the best project that affected everybody, and they nasty. I mean, they need some work. You know, we all go to the same functions. No, we do. We all go, everybody gotta go to the gym. And I mean, they need some work.
You know, I know we fixed up the community center so much, and I go to a few functions there, and not every time I go, more people come to me and says,
Yeah.
"What about those bathrooms?" I mean, the most complaint out of the whole place.
Yeah,
is
and
the
they
bathrooms.
just stick out so much more. At one time, the whole place was dinky. So, I mean, now they just stick out because we've done so
Yeah.
much work, you know?
Thank you.
No, man, I'm thinking about the West. I hadn't really been. Both of them got those like with the showers and stuff in the back, closer to the gym.
Yeah, both rec centers near the stages have more of there is a shower zone.
Right, and they have more bathrooms in there.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
larger, right.
Yeah, they're larger. So I was thinking about the one. I only go in the.
The
I've
men's.
never been in a women's.
Oh,
I haven't, coach.
Trust me, it's bad. And that's
Ben-
I get that complaint every time. People complain to me about that bathroom. I'm like, I know, we're gonna get it fixed.
But the men's is small too. You know,
That's what I'm
small.
saying. The ones in the
The
front,
ones in the front.
we need to do something, even if it's just reconfigure where the door is or something. I mean, he's gonna be.
I don't have
he's gotta
money to
take
make
it
them
down
transgender.
anyway.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
look at
You'll
it.
have to take it down just to
Just need
paint.
to say that.
So
You heard me?
what?
I don't have money to make them transgender. Okay, I quit.
But I mean, that's
Okay,
it.
Mayor.
That's go there.
Oh, you need to put a family bathroom in there.
Here you go.
No, I'm
I'm saying,
joking. Okay.
I
think
guess
you
where I
had
was
the
going,
floor.
if
You
you
had the
need
floor.
more room, go to the ones towards the stage, right?
Yeah, we do have bigger
Because
bathrooms.
these,
There's a couple of them that
the ones in the front are
tiny.
kind of run in and run out.
Yes.
The
And we'll
ones in
do
the
what we
back
can,
is-
you know, we can only go so far code-wise.
The ones in the back
Right.
of the phone with.
Yeah.
But people use both of them. Like when we're playing pickleball, you see people, you know, they're on that side, they will go in the ones in the
Yeah,
back.
whatever's
People in the
closest.
front court, they go in the ones in the front.
Right.
So we need to fix it because they always look at me and say, "What's wrong with this bathroom?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm playing pickleball just like y'all." Okay.
And get the ones when you get up, they flush themselves.
Automated ones.
Oh yeah.
Make it
And,
easy
and
for
actually,
'em.
the
might
ones
be
like
a
at
good
the
idea.
New Orleans, in New Orleans, the
Hands
when you don't have to touch it, you
Yeah.
put your hand and the little
Oh, yeah, yeah.
paper goes around on it, the plastic, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Okay, well, let's see how much
Please
money.
put that on the list, David.
Let's do this.
We got a little extra money.
Let him design it.
Add that one.
Let David do his work, and let's see how much money. But
And we just try to help him out.
after our last set of bids in a week or two, when we come back, and I mean, it seems to be that everybody's in agreement. So if you support this, then I'm gonna assume, and I'll bring it back for a vote, but I'll know a total of how much money, and then we can start talking about how nice these bathrooms will be based on the funds that we're gonna have.
What is it, Willie Garrett got the gold Charlie.
Yeah.
In Florida, the
We might
world
not have
famous
that.
lawyer.
Yeah, yeah.
But we could use one that you don't have to touch paper.
Ah.
Yeah. I love going to New Orleans Airport because of that.
Right.
I'm done talking about
Yeah,
dogs.
anybody else want to talk bathrooms?
Call for the question.
Man,
Yeah,
wait,
exactly.
question.
Call for the
we have one more
question.
taker.
Well,
And first, we got to do a motion, but go ahead.
I want to
Just the
talk
motion
about
special,
the
we have to
ones
do
at,
a motion.
at Bank Avenue Park too.
Oh, yes.
Now, of course, most of the time, they're not open unless you request that they're open.
But we said we were gonna start opening them in the morning and closing them in the evening, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
But that hasn't happened.
No, it's coming. It's coming. Well, we're going to
And
have
they
a
do,
person
they need to be upgraded too.
between the new bathrooms that are downtown and all the park bathrooms that we have added. We're going to have somebody who spends a good part of their time just opening and closing.
That's okay, they gotta open and close parks anyway.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
gotta pay them to do that anyway. But we need access to that, cause I hate going to Bank Park and then there's a portal, I'm not using that,
Okay.
okay? Tax dollars, we need to have the bathrooms open, same thing in West End,
Okay.
okay.
Mayor, I make a motion. We accept.
Well, first of all, we got to do, yeah, we don't have any motions yet. So.
Yeah.
Dan,
I'll make a
don't
motion.
try and shut
Okay.
down our bathroom
Yeah.
conversation.
So that's
It makes me want to go to the bathroom.
Everybody's cool with the discussion ending?
Yes.
Okay, then I have a motion on the floor
And
by
I
Councilman
second it.
Randolph and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. I gotta ask, any further discussion? Okay, please vote your machines. Thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
5C.
Resolution number 24-128, a resolution approving change order number 2 for the Center Street Sidewalk Improvements Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any documentation in connection therewith.
This is gonna be some hydro seeding so that we don't have any erosion. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Move.
Motion by Councilman David Broussard and Councilwoman D. Johnson Reed. Discussion?
Mayor, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Just a recommendation, if, when we do approve it, ask them to wait for some significant rainfall, because it won't take, none of the grass will take seeded if you try to plant it anytime soon.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you'd be wasting money.
Okay. Yes, sir.
It looks like from the original contract, we had a deduction, and now we add, so it's still less than original.
It is.
Contract, okay.
Yes, definitely. Any other discussion? Please vote your machines. And I'll wait for some rain and get us some hydro seeds. No, I.
You can waste it.
5D.
Resolution number 24-130, a resolution awarding contract to Domingue Zalbo and Associates Incorporated for the Pollard Street Sewer Replacement Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any documentation in connection therewith.
This project is in new budget, but we're trying to get the engineering started now so that they can be working on it, because new budget is only a few weeks away. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Representative Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Marlon Lewis. Discussion on this item.
So this is the five.
Greg, come on up.
This is the $500,000, or no, it's $200,000 one.
200.
First is 200,000.
200.
Yeah, G
that's-
Street, we're down to one pump,
Right.
and the parts for it are obsolete.
Correct.
So we're
Yep.
kinda in need to upgrade. If this other pump goes out, we could be in a
And
bond.
200,000 is gonna be sufficient for that pump?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
We're gonna
another
do
reason we're
upgraded pumps
rushing
with
it.
VFD, so we can turn them down if it's.
Right, we did a couple of them already like that.
That's it. Yep.
Anybody else? Okay, please vote your machines in. And Craig just stay up there, we got another one. 5E.
Resolution number 24-130, a resolution awarding contract to Domingue Zalbo and Associates Incorporated for the Pollard Street Sewer Replacement Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Representative Ricky Gonsalas and Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. This is the project that we had to put off the street repair in our First Street program because we discovered that the sewer line was so bad.
Right.
So now we want to get ahead of it. That's another reason I'm trying to get this project started so that it can fall in place again with the roads. Yes, sir.
So when it's raining, yeah, I think I called Craig a few times lately, when it's raining, people have trouble backing up in their sewer. Will this help that problem
Wait,
on Pollard Street?
on Pollard? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Greg, just a quick question. I noticed this probably is $500,000 estimated, and Dabo and charge 15% of the cost estimate of the project. So, and you have it estimated on the projected engineering cost of, what, I think 66,000. Yeah, 66,000. So if the project goes down, the 15% goes down as well. This is just the estimated cost, correct?
Just estimated cost
The way
based on.
we're wording our contracts is 15% of the construction total.
Right.
So if we get a better bid, I get a little bit better engineering price.
Right, so and it's
It's a
just,
little cushion.
It goes up a little bit,
right,
I pay a
I
little
get it.
more.
So that's all I wanted to know, okay.
And that's the way all of our architectural contracts work. And you'll notice more and more, like Domingue Zabo contracts, we're now bringing every single time, every single.
Well, I know we listed the amount of the 15%,
Gotcha.
but, and we voted on that, but it typically might not be that
It's
amount.
tied to the
Right, it
contract.
might not be that.
Correct.
Yeah,
Tied to the bids we get.
all right, that's it.
Anybody else? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. 5-0. Thank Greg.
Resolution number 24-131, a resolution authorizing the mayor to act on behalf of the city of New Iberia in all matters pertaining to frontage road state project number G009892, FAP number H009892, US 90 frontage road extension to LA 329, Iberia Parish, city of New Iberia, and authorizing the mayor to sign any and all documents, contracts, and agreement in connection therewith.
This is something that we did in 2021, but the state asked us to redo it because it was old.
Okay.
So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Marlon Lewis, Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Any discussion on this item?
So Mayor, I think two administrations, again, I was here when we started, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yes, sir.
Where we at?
Okay.
Anywhere's closer?
This has been, and I might get it wrong, it's 16 years we've been waiting for this, okay? At least, all
Yeah.
right? So, we think we have all the money. If you remember, we put some money, when we got here in 17, they were gonna take the project away. We were in the hole, and the council at the time voted to put $200,000 in the pot to tell them we had our matching money. So, we did that, okay, and went further in the hole, but again, it was a risk. So, we did that. That kept the project alive. Then we put $100,000 in, and I know where there's $100,000 has been
Oh, yeah.
sitting since before I was the mayor, from the previous mayor, tied to that property.
That's right.
So if we ever get this going, we'll move that 100. It's just been sitting in an account, and we can't use it for anything else. On top of that, I don't know why we started doing that, but we talked about it. So we started telling the state, well, give us some capital outlay for it. You should be paying for it. So we've gotten 3 different capital outlay allotments for the frontage road. So that money's just stacking up. Then we haven't gotten a lot, I'm not complaining, from MPO that we belong to.
Yeah, right.
They showed up and said, we'll put up 1.5 million. Well,
Where's
that
that?
would catch us up. That would be great because we really haven't gotten a lot. The bigger cities like Lafayette get the bulk of the money. So when you take what we had, what the states promised us over the years, all right, and the promise of MPO, we got enough money. So finally, it took them forever, but finally they've hired engineers. Engineers are working on it, and they tell me that it's gonna bid next year. I don't know if it really is, but they're asking us to clean things. They're asking us questions they've never asked us before. That's a good sign. So we're cleaning up paperwork, I'm signing documents, we're moving forward. So I do feel we're getting close that sometime, the frontage road is really gonna happen.
So last year y'all joined MPO again?
Yeah.
Y'all been joining every year
We
since we
join every
started?
year, and so this 1.5 will put us in the profit zone, okay? Because you pay so much money to be in it a year, and there's some years that the bigger cities eclipse us and we don't get anything.
That had to be 9 years we've been in.
Yeah, and so there's been times that I've been, and we've gotten some things. We have they're gonna pave, is it Iberia Street? They're gonna pave Iberia Street. That's not gonna cost us anything. There's no match to that. They have some projects that are finally coming. So it was worth the gamble, because at some years I'm thinking, we're putting money up and we're not getting, if it's all going to Lafayette, maybe we should quit. These 2 projects alone will put us back in a profit picture that for the rest of the time that we're here, even probably, I kind of calculated the other day and I said, okay, well, we probably pay it forward for 6 years, we're good. We just need to try to get something else from them, to stay even, but we'll finally have caught up because, it's hard to compete with Lafayette and bigger cities. It really is. But anyway, so that's what this is on the frontage road, so I really think we're finally getting close.
Good.
And once the frontage road is here, remember, the city owns property next to the Hampton. We've
Right.
got 10 or 12 acres there. Then we can market that property. We can play developer again, and we can get a couple of big boxes there, and it will be attractive once we have this frontage. I've already showed it to 3 developers, 2 of them this year. and they're interested in it once
After
the
the
frontage
road.
road is there. With no frontage road, I couldn't give it to them.
That's right.
Once the frontage road comes, that is gonna be some more big boxes. Anyway, anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want, Coach, my Aunt Peggy, that was the first time she trusted me enough to ask my opinion about something for that MPO.
That was,
That program?
that was 9 years
She
ago.
asked me what I thought about it. I remember that. That was some time ago.
Yeah.
And she explained it to me, and I told her I thought it was good. And I've been
Yeah.
voting on it ever since.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was, cause we didn't for a couple of years and they said,
You can't get
you
anything.
can't get nothing, y'all won't get nothing until you put it, y'all money up. And we put our money up and we didn't get nothing, but next time y'all will.
Yeah.
We never got nothing and I was no longer here and it's like, well, I guess.
Amador intersection.
and my friend,
Remember.
Mr. Bruce saw it. He said, I don't know what we're going to do about MPO.
No, it's true. So,
They ain't giving us nothing.
it's another risk that's gonna pay off, but I ain't gonna lie, this one took longer than I thought, okay? Anyway, any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 5G.
Resolution number 24-132, a resolution selecting American Rescue Plan Act Business Development Grant recipients and further authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and who was the second? Councilman Marlon Lewis, thank you. Okay, in your packet, I gotta find mine, I'm busy trying to run the meeting. You got yours, Lanny?
I have mine. Do you want it?
Yeah, no, I'll get it, I'm just,
It's taking him a while.
all right. Again, our clerk Laney spent the time on this, reviewed all of the applications. Some were missing some of the documentation, and remember, we extended it once already. And this is all we got in the time frame. Some people didn't show their loss. Some people didn't document other aspects and didn't meet it. These are the businesses that meet the requirement. So they will be at the meeting on the 29th at 4:30, and we will award these businesses these business development grants. A few of them won't get exactly what they asked for. They met all the requirements, but a few of them asked, like, we don't pay labor. There were a few things that we had agreed were not on the list. So they will find out at the meeting exactly what we sent letters out, but we didn't tell them what they're getting yet, did we?
Gonna send letters and tell them what they're.
Okay, after tonight, we'll send
Yeah.
them. So they'll have a letter, they'll know what they're getting, and they'll come to the meeting, because there's papers for them to sign. So that's how this one went, and that additional money is some of the money that we would probably take and move to the restrooms.
That's what I was going to ask, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, we
What's our
asked-
amount now? I mean, I thought we talked about kind of
Give 'em a
changing the
little
amount. So are we still at 7 or are we at 10?
Yeah, I just stayed at 7.
Okay,
I just stayed at 7,
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked
I
about
mean,
it.
yeah, I mean, if we're gonna use the money on the bathrooms and stuff like that, then it doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
raise it.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, I'm all about the bathrooms.
In the new application.
We had a deadline, and then we extended the deadline.
Right.
So, yeah, we just kind of said, that's it. I mean, we can't keep extending. We're gonna run out of time to lock down all of this. You know, when we have the meeting, people are gonna have questions. We'll get more final answers and make sure that they all meet. Again, all of this, we calling people finalists until we get together face to face and make sure they meet all the requirements.
And if people haven't turned in their application or the paperwork that's necessary yet, then they're not really interested. Because after that extension, I mean, if you really want this grant, you're running down there with those papers that we're asking for. So I wouldn't worry about the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah, well, like I said, there were some, but they just didn't meet the qualifications or,
Didn't bring the
they couldn't
paperwork
prove a
in,
loss.
yeah.
They didn't furnish their paperwork, I mean, we extended it, and I thought when we extended it, we would've, I really did. I know I'm optimistic, but I thought when we extended it, we'd probably double the ask. How many more did we get? 5. Yeah, we got 5 more of pushing it too,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
and those 5 didn't meet the criteria. 5 more.
Some did, some didn't.
Okay.
Maybe 3 did? Yeah. I think
So
3 did.
some out of that other 5, they're on this list now.
Yes, if they're on the list from the first
Okay.
deadline and the second deadline, this is what we got. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
10.
6, 7, 8, 10. We got 10 businesses. Yep.
We did what we could.
No, we
Tried.
did, and it's something new. Nobody really understands. We put it out there, but it's hard for people to understand we actually are doing this, because government really, I mean, you have to be in the financial category, you know, to get this. There are requirements, but it's just weird that government's doing this. Same thing with the houses, same thing with the demos. I kind of think that when government's saying, we're gonna give you something, nobody believes it. So it's been hard to get people to apply. It really has. I mean, I thought when we thought of all of this, when COVID was kicking and we were doing this, I thought that this would have been the hottest commodity, but it really hasn't been. But again, this is something government normally doesn't do. Anyway, questions, comments?
People are gonna get help.
Yeah.
10 small businesses are gonna get
Yeah,
help.
which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And hopefully it grows their business.
Questions, comments? Please vote your machines. Thank you. Okay, what's the next one? Yeah, Lil. Okay, 5H.
Resolution number 24-133, a resolution selecting American Rescue Plan Act litter abatement program participants and further authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute documentation in connection therewith.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Councilman D.
Second.
Johnson Reed and Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. This is a list we put together. Again, we kind of spread it out through town and called different agencies, and so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
So
8, 9.
we have one missing.
We have one missing.
Yeah, that they asked, like, right when we posted this, or when we talked about it in the meeting, Sons of Kings.
Okay, did we get any? Okay.
I mean, they asked, they said they wanted to be a part of it right from the beginning. And they have done a lot of work with Councilman Lewis and myself, cleaning up the community and then cleaning up that cemetery. So I'd hate to leave them off the list because they already are doing the work in the community. It'd be nice to kind of let them participate in this. So can we amend the list to add them?
Well, this is one that's weird, okay? Because we didn't get any applications. We just sat around and said, we're gonna pick civic groups from all over town.
But this is a civic group.
I know it is, but I called each one of the civic groups that we made a list of.
Okay, but we left that one off. So I guess my thing is that they do a lot of great work in the community. I mean,
Oh, I'm not saying they
What's-
don't. I picked up trash
no,
with
but
them
I'm
before.
just saying, so what's the problem with adding them to the list? Am I missing something? Because we
No,
can
but
amend this,
I'm
we
trying to
amend other
be
stuff.
Consistent that, okay, we just said no more businesses, no more, in other words, I had
But we didn't have a
deadlines.
deadline on this. Did we? I mean, because I didn't hear of a deadline on this one.
Well, we kind of didn't. I
No.
mean, we just made it up. I mean, I'm being honest with
Yeah.
you. As anything else we're doing new, we sat down, we'd have to add more money though. I don't,
Me-
you know, we divided the money equally amongst the groups that we called. So I have used all the money.
You can't, just, you're gonna have to expand the agenda to add something to it too. You're gonna have to do a whole.
And we can do that because we
I
got
mean, I'm
time.
just saying, and you
No,
gotta,
I
with the
know,
money
I know.
attached to it.
No, no,
you
I
gotta do the
know,
whole
I know.
thing.
It's gonna change.
All right, we're
what
gonna
doing.
we take 2,000 from the bathrooms.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
playing.
just not that easy though.
No, I'm just saying that this
Yeah,
is,
I
this is
know.
a group that does a lot of work in the West End area, and I would hate for them to miss out on this opportunity
And this is
because
the
we didn't
one-
think of them.
This is the one time that we didn't have a deadline. We just made a list of
Exactly, so
civic
tonight-
organizations, and I started making calls. Because we thought, we fleshed it out of the meeting prior. Because if you remember, I brought it and we said we're gonna try to do litter and get civic groups to pick up litter. So we did make this one up on the cuff. So I'll take the lick for this one that, you know, we had a really good structure for all the rest of them. And we had a timeline. This is something that we just thought about, that we have this money for litter. Why don't we pay civic organizations to clean up areas? It made a lot of sense. It sounded really good. I guess I should have had a deadline on this one too. It would be a deadline on myself because let me put together the list. So I'll take the lick on this one.
You got two options. I mean, if we can expand and attach some money to it, or we can table it to the next meeting and then you can address the list if you got a timetable available.
Yeah. When are we, the 29th?
Whatever, you know, either
We
one.
would make one more meeting before the, when's our, no? we don't have
No,
another
it's not till
meeting.
November, so we have to do it tonight.
Yeah, then you got to expand.
Yeah, then we'd have to expand and talk about it tonight. Yes, sir.
Why do we need to expand? I mean, the agenda item is the same.
Yeah. We're just
Okay.
adding
Added
a
to the
name.
list that wasn't publicized.
The list wasn't
The
publicized.
list isn't
That's right,
publicized.
that's right. You
The
right.
list was not publicized. The agenda item would not change.
That's
It
right.
just, the list, somebody would have to make the motion
To add.
to add this to
Well,
the
that's why,
list.
yeah, I thought we
And
could
then I
just
think,
add to
then I
the
think you're
list.
fine.
Well, I'm gonna make the wrinkle one deeper. Okay? No, I got to. I mean, I got a job to do. You want to read out the list of who we picked? In other words, I don't want to do this twice. In other words, I think the litter thing is really good.
Yeah,
All right? I'm
absolutely.
transparent. I got nothing to hide. How about I read the, Madam Clerk will. How about we read the list of the civic organizations and make sure that everybody's happy with that? Because if there's someone that I, need to get punched in the head we didn't think of, I'd rather do it now.
So we could add more than one. If we,
Well, within reason, because we only have so much money.
Yeah.
agreed.
And I don't want to start saying we're taking out of other pots and everything.
No, but
you know.
we haven't allocated the money, we haven't told anybody about how much they're getting, correct? So they don't know, it could be $500.
They know.
Y'all told, when y'all called them?
Yeah. We're convincing civic groups to go for a year and clean up litter. I had to tell them what
Okay,
they were
well
getting.
then, I mean, I'm sure if
They're
we
going to
have.
pick up every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, a civic group, they're going to have a map, okay? When we meet, we're dividing the city up, and people did kind of want to stay in their areas. In other words, I normally clean this up, or my club kind of services this area, or I kind of here. So as we call people, we kind of talk to them about, will you pick up this, will you pick up that? It's some pretty good-sized areas, like the Optimist Club or whatever. They'll get their, what is the group that's under the Optimist? The
Key Club.
Huh? Well, they'll get the Key Club kids to help them because just the Optimist people is not going to be able to handle it. So each different group, found a way to tap into youth to get out there and clean. And what's our
Well-
dollar amount?
1,000 a month?
Yeah, $1,000 a month.
Okay,
So $500 every 2 weeks to clean up. They have to collect the bags. We got to see pictures of the bags. We furnish a dumpster. We want to fill the dumpster up before we dump it. I already talked to Pelicans so that I can show how many dumpsters we pick up over the year. But I mean, it's decent money for a club. They go out and sell poor boys or sell whatever and work probably even harder and don't know if they're going to really sell. So the groups, every group was interested. It spreads money throughout the whole town. And helps our civic organizations, but that's kind of the deal. We will agree upon a map. They'll sign a paper that they're going to pick it up, and then, like I said, I got a way to document to show that, if they don't pick it up, I'm not counting bags, but I mean, if we would have a group that just fizzled out on us and didn't, well, then I'm not going to pay them.
okay, so I get that, but as you mentioned, you've been out there with us, with Sons of Kings,
Oh
picking up
yeah,
trash.
I'm not arguing
So,
with you.
no,
like
I'm
Sons of
just, I
Kings.
just feel like they clean up uptown, so.
Well, let's
they need to
read
be
the
on this
list and make sure that everybody feels that we have a good, diverse representation.
Okay,
Madam Clerk.
The Sugarland Optimist Club of New Iberia, Optimist Club of New Iberia, the Rotary Club, West End Council of Neighborhood Association Incorporated, Swamp Smokers, Social Aid and Pleasure Club, Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Neighborhood Association, Kiwanis Club of New Iberia, and Divine Touch Community Development Center.
And Sons of King.
and Sons of
And we'll
Kings.
add Sons of King.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's pretty
Do
diverse.
we have to make a motion to add them?
Do we have a motion?
Not yet.
Okay.
You just read it.
Just include them in your motion.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
I appreciate that.
So first of all, before we get a motion and vote on it, is there, well, let's do the motion. That's the right way to do it.
I'll make a
So,
motion.
Okay.
Motion as list as read.
Okay, got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Do I need to make a motion to add them?
Well, if,
I just
since
added it.
Laney read it, it's in there.
Okay,
They got-
cool.
They got
Okay.
read.
But I do need a second.
It's for the
I need a
record
sec,
now.
a second.
Okay, Councilwoman
sorry.
Judy Johnson
Right.
reads the second. So Sons and Kings are in because we read it. Everybody understands that. So of our 10 groups that we, 9 groups?
10 now.
Of the 10 groups that we have, is everybody, I think that's a good representation.
I
What do y'all
think it
think?
is.
Yeah.
I think it is. I was thinking about another group, but
And
I'm
nothing,
glad with the list.
Okay.
And it's nothing to say that one of these groups uses another small civic organization under them.
Correct.
to
Split
pick-
the money.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
Correct.
fine with
We
that.
can't pay them, but we pay the main group.
Yeah, no, and people can partner.
That's
We
what I'm
just,
thinking.
Yeah.
we just hiring the work done.
That's right.
Yeah, we just getting the work done. We
Hiring
clean our
the work
city
You know,
and contributing money to our community.
Honestly, I was thinking about the Masonic Lodge, but they're downtown. So
Yeah, we can partner.
We can partner with
Yeah.
DNA,
Yeah.
and so we good. I'm happy with the list.
Okay. Well, I mean, I tried. I apologize for. I don't know how we didn't put Sons of Kings, but and I do remember us talking
That's a
about it.
good-
Yeah,
thank you
but
for
it's
bringing it
okay.
up,
I
Dee.
mean,
My mistake.
that's why we do this and we help each other out.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if anybody here is in these clubs,
Go partner
but
with
they ought to recuse themselves if they are.
Okay, I am. And Marlon. No, you're not.
What was that?
Oh, he's in Wackness, so we can't vote.
So recuse yourself if you're
I
in one
will.
of these clubs, because
I will.
they cover the town.
Okay.
So
Yes, ma'am.
we covering all of New Iberia. You're gonna
I'm
divide
gonna
the whole city
divide
up.
the city up
Okay.
in 10 wedges or
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, because I mean that's the only fair way to do it. If we're gonna give the money, well then everybody should, get the benefit.
Can I add something to this, to Ms. Ledbetter, to Councilwoman Ledbetter's comment? I see three groups in here that would assist all
They don't
over
have enough to
town.
vote.
Yeah.
No, but you're not
You know,
I might not have the vote.
a member.
I know
I
that
don't,
Swamp Smokers, Social Aid and Pleasure Club, I know
What do we do if we don't? Wait.
no, I'm just saying, I see three groups that would
Yeah. No, I agree.
love to assist all over
We're
town.
probably gonna have to break it up to vote because I got somebody in every civic club. I'm not gonna have 4 votes.
are they members of the club? Are they board members of the club or officers of the club? Or
Okay.
Members.
they just members?
These two are okay, so if you're not a board member, you can vote. Or I'll break them into 10
Yeah, break
votes.
it into 2, yeah.
No, 10.
You have to vote on each one?
Okay,
I don't know.
let's
That's what we could
let's
do.
vote on each
We
one.
could vote on each one, and
Vote
then
each
that
one, you
way,
can.
if everybody recuse themselves when they have to, because if we voted all in one, I'm not gonna have
Yeah.
4 votes.
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Dude, when you do something new,
Y'all
it's
did
always an
too
adventure.
good a job of covering the town.
Not only that,
Yeah.
I think it's another way to show fairness as well to
Yeah,
every group
it is. It is.
So,
in support.
but let the record hold that if you abstain from it, it's not that you oppose that group, but you're complimentary.
Because you're in the group. Yeah, it's because you're in the group.
You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty funny.
We're not voting no.
That's a
we
good
voting
point.
abstain.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do I have to make a motion and a second on each one, or can we just go down the line and vote the machine 10 times?
Let's just-
I think you just vote the machine 10 times.
That's a great way to do it. Okay, so Madam Clerk, call it out, call for a vote, and we'll just do it, you're gonna have to keep resetting.
The Sugarland Optimist Club.
Coach Machines, thank you. Optimist Club in New Iberia.
I was getting there.
Yeah, no, I'm helping you. All right, thank you very much.
Rotary Club of New Iberia. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. West End Council of Neighborhood Association, Inc. Okay. Swamp Smokers Social Aid and Pleasure Club. I love that name. Thank you. Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Downtown Neighborhood Association. Kiwanis Club in New Iberia. Divine Touch Community Development Center. Thank you. My friends at Sons of Kings. We almost forgot them.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay.
Unanimous for Sons of King.
Good job. Good job. They are pretty cool. Okay, so have we voted on the main motion?
For the main motion yet?
Does it count by doing it individually, or do we need to vote on the main motion?
I think if you vote on the main motion, you're gonna have the same problem we avoided by
yes.
doing it
Yeah,
individually.
that's
I
right.
think, I think that's gonna have to
Okay.
be, yeah.
All right, no, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Good job.
I mean, we're trying real hard here to be.
We are.
We really are.
But when you do something new that government's
Yeah.
never done,
I
this is
know,
what you
I
run
know,
into,
I know.
We're setting precedent.
which kind of makes it fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 6A.
Introduction of ordinance number 2024-28, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to negotiate and execute an agreement with the West End Council of Neighborhood Association related to the Neighborhood Investments American Rescue Plan Act project.
Okay, and what they want to do is take their money and pick from the list, which would be from the alternates, and do a few more houses.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So, and I figured that we have 20 alternates, so that's where we'll pick them from, because we're not going to go revet or ask for more applications. We don't have time. In the West End, and those would be in the West End.
Yeah.
So we can have some discussion after we have a motion. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Uh,
Second.
Councilman Brooke Marcotte and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Now we can have a discussion. Anybody got anything?
They
I
following
think
our
it's a great
criteria?
idea.
They following our criteria or that
Yeah,
criteria?
yeah, no, we'll do it all. In other words, it's no different than one block at a time, that we will do it, we will contract the work, we'll bid it out. It's just that they get to pick,
Right.
use their money to do some more houses.
They-
Yes,
In
sir.
the West End.
They get to direct the work that we could do.
Correct, yes,
Right.
Okay.
yes.
We kind of get to pick the list, 'cause we had a list of people that needed,
And,
where that idea came from.
and to keep it the same, Madam Clerk will grade it, she'll do everything, we won't know the names, you know. Cool.
Some more stuff.
Any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you very much. 7A.
Ordinance number 2024-27, an ordinance amending general ordinance number 304 of the city of New Iberia relative to the rezoning of property owned by Catherine Huckabee, including 3 lots on West St. Peter Street / North Street, identified as parcels 0501234000A, 0501234000B, and 0501234000D, as found in the Iberia Parish Assessor's Rolls.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion or comments on this item? Yes, sir.
Just got a question. They turn these 3 lots to C4 from residential to commercial, right?
Yes.
And
Jane, you want
can't
to come
you
up?
say what's happening, or you can't say?
Yeah, they want to market the property for sale, and they just felt that the commercial zone would be more marketable than the residential. At one time, these 3 lots had a non-conforming commercial use, years and years ago. And so, but the property, continued to be zoned residential. So now it's just that the property is up for sale, and they figured that marketing it as commercial would be more beneficial.
So y'all looked at the different commercials, and you think C4 would fit that area versus, it could have been.
Well, it is contiguous,
Yeah.
because C4 is existing already across North Street.
Uh-huh.
So, it is contiguous, and there was no opposition. We held a public hearing, and there was no opposition.
Yeah, it's on the
Neighbors were notified, we posted zoning signs, a couple of people called, just wanting to know.
So it's
what-
really just a resale, not to do any,
Just to resale.
okay.
Yeah,
good.
the
Thank you.
property's for sale right now.
And
Thank you.
this was the old junkyard? property?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's what I wanted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it wasn't a house there before, not for many years. So.
Nope.
no.
Thank you.
So it's the
Yes, sir.
junkyard and 2 lots on the side, on either side, or the whole thing is considered 3 lots?
It's 3 individual lots, 3
Okay.
separate lots.
And one of them is where the junkyard was?
Well, it used to be,
Yeah.
it's no longer a
They tro-
junkyard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was kind of all that, I think it was kind of all over the area.
It was.
I know they had a building in the front door, Courgette.
Off of Main.
Oh, no,
they
that's on
still-
Main. This
No,
is on
West
St.
Main.
Peter.
This is on St. Peter.
Yeah.
St. Peter and North.
Oh, yeah, Courgette's on, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's right
They
across the
still
new
have the building
library.
and everything.
Yeah,
on
from
it.
It's
the
all
library.
overgrown, or was all
Yeah.
overgrown.
They don't have anything there now?
No.
Okay,
Because
all
at one
right.
time, they had junk cars there, and then they had fenced it,
Yeah.
but, because I'd go pull parts over there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, them old cars. But, so it was a junkyard, and then they cleaned that up, and then Courgette still operated on Main Street, and that just sat there.
Same family though,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
doing the same stuff.
Sitting
Doing
there a
the
long
same
time.
stuff.
So Jane, if they would want
Yeah,
to come
I
and
miss it.
make those 3 lots in one, they would have to go back to planning and zoning?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they could do it.
Right.
Or they could sell individually.
Right.
Now, I think they just want to see what,
What happens?
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
what the market
Okay, thank you.
holds for them.
Cool. Any other questions, comment? Then please vote your machines. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. 8A, Madam Clerk.
Babette Lestrapes to present monthly budget to actual report for November 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Presented before you is the budget to actual for November 1st, 2023 through September 30th of 2024. On October 1st, you adopted some budget amendments, so these numbers do reflect the amended budgets for both the revenues and the expenditures. I just wanted to let you know that. So that represents 11 months of the fiscal year, which is 92%. General fund, the budgeted revenue is $25,500,000. We're at actual of 18 million, which is roughly almost 72% of our budget
Quick
for
question,
revenue. Yes.
before you go any further, is there any reason why the revenue is so low on the police department? It's at 65%.
It's because of the operating transfers.
Okay,
Those I'll be making this month.
okay,
I don't transfer the funds until the end of the fiscal year. I transfer what's needed.
okay, all right.
Okay. The budgeted expenditures for the general fund is 28 million. We're at 21.5 million, which is 77% of the budget. On the sales tax fund, we budgeted 10.5 million. We're at 9.1 million, which is almost 87% of the budget. The expenditures for the sales tax fund, we budgeted 13 million. We're at 6.1 million, which is 47% of the budget. And the expenditures that we're budgeting there are operating transfers. Those will get made this month before the end of the fiscal year. The Pepperplex TIF district, we budgeted 800,000 in revenue. We're at 687,000, which is 86% of the budget. The expenditures, we have 945,000 budgeted. We have 222,000, which is 23% of the budget. The public safety tax, we have 4.2 million budgeted revenue. Actual is 3.6 million, which is 85% of your budget. The expenditures for the public safety tax is 4.2 million budgeted. We are 2.1 million, which is 50% of the budget. Highway 14 TIF, we budgeted 355,000 in revenue. We are 289,000, which is 81% of the budget. On the expenditures for the Highway 14 TIF, we budgeted 400,000. We're at 2,200, which is 0.5%. And that also is transfers. The Spanish Trail TIF, we budgeted 31,000 in revenue. We are at 30,000, which is 98% of our budget. And the expenditures there, we budgeted $284. We had $225, which is 79% of the budget. Any questions so far?
Questions?
Okay. Parks and Recreation, we budgeted 1.2 million in revenue. We're at 856,000, which is 72% of the budget.
And that's transfers as well.
Correct.
Okay.
The expenditures for Parks and Recreation, we budgeted 7.5 million. We're at 1.3 million, which is 77% of the budget. Pepperplex, we budgeted 1.1 million in revenue. We had 471,000, which is 41% of the budget. Budgeted expenditures for Pepperplex is 1.5 million. We had 840,000, which is 55% of the budget. Public Works, we budgeted 3 million in revenue. We're at 1.7 million, which is 56% of the budget. The expenditures for Public Works, we budgeted 3.7 million. We're at 2.6 million, which is 69% of the budget. The Garbage Fund, we budgeted 4.2 million in revenue. We're at 3.6 million in revenue, which is 86% of the budget. The expenditures for Garbage Fund is 4.3 million. We budgeted, as budgeted, we at 3.5 million, which is 81% of our budget.
And just on that one, I mean, I'm very watching this for pretty close. At 11 months, we should be okay, right? Fiscally moving with the garbage fund.
Right, well, we're gonna have to subsidize, we're projected a little bit to subsidize it, which will,
Closer than I thought, anyway.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
correct.
Nothing you can do about it. I mean, it is what it is, but it is. All right.
All right. The Section 8 voucher fund, we budgeted 1.9 million. We're at 1.8 million, which is 94% of the budget. The expenditures for Section 8 voucher is 1.9 million. We're at 1.7 million, which is 91% of their budget. Wastewater, we budgeted 6.3 million in revenue. We're at 5.3 million, which is 83% of the budget. And we budgeted 9.4 million in expenditures. We have 4.9 million, which is 53% of the budget. Anyone have any questions?
That good? Babette?
All right, thank you.
Okay. Now we have a discussion item. Madam Clerk?
A discussion related to mobile home replacement time. Marlon Lewis.
Councilman Lewis?
Hey, Council, how y'all doing tonight?
We didn't talk a lot
Y'all
tonight.
know, y'all know, kind of this was one of the things that I initially wanted to make a push to allow trailers to come back into the city initially. And of course, that fell by the wayside, and I respect people's decision, and I respect their reasoning based on some of the data that they had concerning bringing mobile homes back in. I still think at some point this city should should make an attempt to bring in mobile homes. I don't know, if they're gonna do it in the park, because before long, we're gonna have a bunch of abandoned lots where what we used to call sharpshooter and shotgun houses were, and I don't know, maybe I don't know, I'm not a builder or anything, but I can see, and I could almost measure with my eyes, and don't look like nothing but a mobile home, single wide mobile home could go back in those lots. So that's where that's where the passion for that come from. Seems like nothing else could go there but a mobile home. And they are still selling mobile homes. I understand that. One of my dear friends, he was in the building and flipping houses and all that. And he told me, he said, man, there's nowhere documented where, and this is what he told me, he says, nowhere documented where in neighborhoods neighborhoods that have went through dilapidation and, abandonment, he says nowhere written that, like it would bring the value down or insurance rating down, and he was into that. I wasn't in it. I took his word for it. So that's why I'm always, and I ain't got long left, so if somebody else want to bring it up, whoever come and sit in this seat, I'm still going to support that. However, in lieu of that, me and Dan had talked some time back about possibly extending the time. You remember that, Coach? Mm-hmm. Giving people more time to replace their old.
My name should be Coach.
I know you got me stuck on that. That's his Dan Dog for those who in the audience.
About to change his nameplate.
Yeah, giving them more time to replace existing trailers, because I know there may still be a lot of dilapidated, abandoned trailers in our city. And I know that an opportunity for some people would be, before they hit the demolition list, buy those abandoned, dilapidated homes from the families that want to sell them, and whatever they want to sell them for, if it's reasonable, buy that property and then tear it down and replace a new mobile home in that spot. So I with that process of finding the money, finding the person who, all of that, I just think that giving people a little more time, because I think it's currently 6 months.
Yes.
And somebody said that's a long time, but just in my mind, 6 months just seemed like it goes so fast. 6 months go fast. They say the older you get, the faster time passes. Boy, 6 months go fast. So my suggestion was a year.
Faster over here.
Yeah, my suggestion was giving them a year, and I might have heard somebody say, well, no, that's a year might be long, but man, the process is longer than a year. So I don't know. I think for me, it's about encouraging people to look at that process. Because I know one guy, man, and he agreed. He said, you know, I wanted to move my mobile home. He said, and it was 5 years later till I was able to get it together. He said, it's my fault. You remember he came up here, showed us the pictures and stuff. And very nice guy, really wanted to help him. Very clean guy. His mobile home was very nice. You know, but he understood that he had missed that 5-year window, you know. And surely 5 years, 2 years would be too long. But, you know, I was suggesting to the council that if we give people like a year to replace a mobile home, you know, in any condition, whether it's their home that they want to tear down and move another one, or if they're buying a lot from some, like the lot that was in District 4, for example, where that mobile home was, if they could have tracked down the owners, buy the lot, and somebody else put a new mobile home there. You know, that kind of situation. Just giving them a little more time. And a year to me is, you know, seems like a decent amount of time to help people put their mobile homes, give an opportunity to have that life. And a mobile home is a home, you know, it's a home. But that's all I have. I don't have a whole lot on that. That's my suggestion to the council, to give them more time in a year.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that time?
So, I agree with Councilman Lewis. We need to give people more time because 6 months does go by quickly. Also, the federal government is pushing mobile homes as an option for affordable homes. That's why they're giving that grant that we are potentially in the running for $7.2 million. I mean, I know the mayor doesn't want to like replace, but that grant even allows us to buy a new trailer for a person. We you know, the mayor doesn't do that because he doesn't buy new houses for people, but the fact of the matter is that the federal government believes so much in this, in mobile homes being a solution for affordable housing, that they're willing to give communities money to repair them, replace them, fix the community around them, the roads, the sewer, put playgrounds in them to really make it a real community. And so, I mean, I ride around in my district and there are several lots that are they're just too small for anything else. And it would be great if we could put a single wide mobile home. And maybe we have some restrictions around what kind of mobile home or how it has to be. You got to put a skirt around it, all of those things to make it look nice. But considering the fact that we have a challenge getting people to come and build in our community, that's the one thing that a lot of disenfranchised people can't afford to do on their own. I mean, FEMA just replaced a bunch of trailers around the city. People got a voucher, and I mean, one on Ann Street that looked like it was, you know, struggling. They replaced it. They have a new one sitting right there. There's a couple of other ones in my community, in my district, that actually have been replaced by FEMA. So it is a solution for affordable housing, and we do have an affordable housing crisis in New Iberia. So as council people, I think we do need to take a second and look at not only for the people who actually have homes that they think, oh, it's going to change the value, but also just what about our citizens? What about the ones that really need that kind of solution to have a decent place to live? So I think it's, I agree with the extending the time, but I also feel like we ought to have that discussion about whether or not they come back into this community and what kind of ordinance could we put in place to make sure that they didn't fall into some sort of disrepair and, you know, affected the community in a negative way. It feels like what the crisis we have going on right now is something we should take a look at. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, question. And Marlo made a statement, but I don't think it's accurate enough, but if a property owner has a piece of property with a trailer on it and the trailer is demoed or removed, and he sells that property, that grandfather clause is not transferable to the next owner, correct? It stays with the owner, correct? So you said sell the property, someone else put a trailer. That's not what.
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
If I'm selling you a lot with a trailer on it, I'm selling you the trailer in a lot, it is now yours.
Yeah, but it's not grandfathered in. I just want to make sure.
No, hold on. And
It was a trailer location.
I'm at,
it's the,
It's a zoning of the property.
it's the zoning,
We
correct.
went through this when the ordinance was created.
That's right.
It's a trailer location.
Yes.
So it's 6 months to replace the trailer on that location.
Correct.
No matter who
So it
owns
is grandfathered in.
Different people,
Yeah.
you get your 6 months.
Okay,
Right.
that's right, that's what I mean, so if I would buy one with a trailer on it, I would get 6 months.
Well, that's what we've been promoting. We all talked about that as a council, even our first administration. We all talked about trying to, I know you remember, Ms. Ledbetter, trying to promote people, because we were trying to save on demolition costs. So think about that. We're trying to save on demolition costs, so we promoting people who want to get out of their mobile homes because of their, whatever reason, they want to move, they want to. So we say, well, look, put it up for sale. We're trying to make a perfect marriage, which ain't easy to do. Somebody who wants a mobile home and somebody that wants to get out of their mobile home that's on that lot. You follow me? So it's just an option.
No.
It ain't gonna be a perfect marriage.
I'm done.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, I was here when I wasn't for mobile homes. I'm still not for mobile homes. I was for modular homes. We went and look at them. It was an ordeal. And a person that came to talk to us, I can't remember, talk about the value of the property with a mobile home versus a modular home. It was a difference. My whole thing was talking to a banker back then, and I was trying, and this has been years back then, I'm just trying to remember. And I thought, I was going and get money at the bank, how long it would take getting money to get approved, to get a mobile home, get on a lot that someone might have got a divorce. This is where it all came from. Okay. Someone got a divorce. They lost the mobile home. By the time they got the mobile home sold and got rid of it, the wife wanted a mobile home. By the time she get a loan and get back, 6 months wasn't long enough. Right. So I was like, man, and so I talked to a banker about it, how long it would take if they go through the bank. And I was like, man, let's try to do 9 months. And I got it stayed. It came about a financial, by getting money to buy a new mobile home to put on the existing lot on the timeline. That's how I got to that, because there wasn't enough time, and it was about someone that got a divorce that lost the mobile home. So by the time they sold it, for her to get another one back on it, it was just a couple of incidents, not 100 people. Right. And I said, what would 3 months be? But it never happened. I mean, and when you talked to me about it, I said, well, dude, I'm open. I'm not open for mobile homes. I'm still not.
That's right.
But I'm open for a little bit more time just to give them an opportunity to put that back on it. But I would love to see the difference. And we talked about the modular home versus mobile homes. The insurance was different, was a lot cheaper on the modular. At that time when we went, I don't remember, Freddie, I think you were here.
I set it up.
Oh, the price difference wasn't that great. Okay. The insurance was different. The bank was a difference getting a modular home versus a mobile home. So it was a win-win, and would be a better value for the property at the end of the day. What I could remember.
And better if we had a hurricane.
Yeah. So that's how I got to that, because the person couldn't get the money quick enough to put one back. So I was never for changing artists. I was just trying to give them a little more time to get the money to get a thing, and it ended up working out for her because someone stepped in. But that was my reason to give it a little more time.
And I remember that. That's why I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was there in the way back then with you in the mail. I'm not against go a year. I see your point, Dan. Sometimes it takes a while for legal matters to, divorces and all this. I don't mind going a year, if that helps. But I'll support you on that if a year.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we looked recently into,
Modular?
yes.
I'm working on that now.
Oh, okay.
When Councilman Lewis asked to bring this up, I found a lot of trailer manufacturers try to call themselves modular. Modular is a whole separate code. The modular codes are exactly and mimic a regular house that you're going to build, okay? So, but a lot of trailer companies call them modulars because it's a sales pitch, okay? And people think they're getting something they're not. So we've been calling, we've been looking. There's one modular builder in Lafayette that I'm going to go pay a visit to. And I was the one who lined up to go to St. Martinville and Martin Mills when they had a modular guy there. We went on a tour.
Yeah.
Okay? So this sparked me when Marlo and I when we had a conversation about it. I said, yeah, put it on the agenda, we'll talk about it. So I'm in the process of trying to locate a reputable modular builder, because the guy that was in the old Martin Mills, he was good. I mean, they did tons of jobs, and then he took on some giant complex in Mississippi, and I think he ended up going bankrupt, or closing or whatever. So I'm in the process of doing that, because I would like us to go and look at modulars again and kind of reinforce that that is the answer. That is a legitimate answer. Might be more expensive than a trailer, is less expensive than a house, fits the site.
Right.
You know, the shotgun house theory there's nothing wrong with that. You know, those 50-foot lots that we have in town, none of y'all are wrong that will support a shotgun house, because in many instances for 100 years, 150 years, there hasn't been a shotgun house. So, and the modern layouts, they don't all, while they look like a shotgun on the outside, they are architecturally some layouts that change, and you'll end up with a hall at an A. It's not just that long, straight hall, because a shotgun house is called that way because you could shoot a gun from the front door through the back door.
Kill
Okay?
everyone.
Well, now they do things that they change the layout. There is some diagonal halls and some things that they do and rooms that you can walk through, and the floor plan is much nicer, if you will. It just utilizes the space better. So I'm all for looking into that and and I will be bringing, I haven't got it all straight yet because I'm really concentrating on the ARPA stuff, but I did find one manufacturer. I think there's one in Lake Charles. And so I'm going to kind of look around and we'll bring that back, because I do think that is definitely, and that spurred my interest again, but I do think that's an alternative. But you still have the floor.
Well, that's what I wanted to know, because we have to give people the option to do something that's affordable to them. I know some other groups have been looking into affordable housing, and we saying that modular versus a trailer is a better way of doing it, because we don't want trailers in the city. But I will agree that more time would be necessary, I think, sometimes to replace a trailer on a lot. Like you said, 9, 12 months or whatever you need, because if we don't find an alternative, then there's just a lot there. And it's not doing anybody any good just being there, being empty. In fact, not too far from where you are, Councilman Lewis, it was a trailer park with 4 trailers. Now they have none there. It's just growing up on Bro Alley.
Yeah.
It's just growing up, but there's no trailers there, and I don't see any that they're gonna be replaced by, because it's been vacant for probably over a year now, if not 2.
Yes, easy. I think they got one there.
No,
It's gone? No, but nobody lives in it. It's one abandoned trailer.
I haven't seen any. There's one further down, I think. So, we need to give our citizens options and something that's affordable to them. More time would be helpful, but if we can get something going with a modular manufacturer, that could probably be something that a bank, maybe, because you need financing too for that. If we want to go in that direction as an alternative to trailers.
All right. Yes, ma'am. You had your hand up, and then I'll just keep going around.
So I'm not sure if the one you're talking about is the same one that I found a few months back. He was in Lafayette. He did some modular homes right around Sherrington, around the casino. I went over there and I looked at them. I think I sent you guys the
Nice.
information. Yeah,
I'm gonna look at them too.
yeah. So, but those are expensive. Those are over $200,000 each. And so they were beautiful because they would let me go in them and everything. They were absolutely beautiful. I'd love to see some of those in New Iberia. But they're not as affordable as a mobile home
But I do
would
think
be.
they were at top of the line too.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, I mean, what we're talking about is that a mobile home, for somebody who's making $36,000 a year, they're not getting a $200,000 modular home.
Right. Well, I do
So-
think there are some that are more reasonable, but
Okay, but let's look at our medium income in New Iberia. I mean, what is it now? Is it still 39?
no, we're at, let's see, 49 to 59, and everybody else is at 159.
Okay,
Maybe that's just a number I got stuck in my head, but Broussard, Youngsville, and Lafayette are like 150.
they're over 100, right.
And I think we're around 50.
Okay, so even at 50, what we need to look at is that that's our, I thought it was lower than that, but maybe
It
I'm
might
wrong.
be. The clerk is looking it up.
Okay, but we have to also look at the medium income and say, what can our people really afford? Because you're gonna price people out if you say, we're gonna do are modular homes, and a modular home is 200,000. Then all those people that we're trying to help will never get help, because the medium income here is too low for them to afford it. So as a council, we need to look at, we have to think through, we can't just please all the middle income and the high income people saying we don't want trailers. The lower income people deserve a decent place to live. And so if the medium income, and of course we know medium just means there's got a whole lot of people that's a lot lower. We need to look at what can they afford and to have a decent place to live in the city. That's the only fair thing to do. Otherwise, we're disenfranchising those people as well. So that's just my thoughts on, how we should look at this. This is not just about it's about making sure we have affordable homes for people who cannot afford these higher price solutions.
I said 50. I rounded it up a little bit. It's 47.
Okay, so 47.
Because I always compares 50 to 150.
Right.
It's a decent comparison.
Okay, so even if it's 47, we know what that means. There's people higher, people lower. We need to look at what does $47,000 a year buy us when it comes to housing. At least look at that. What can someone who's making the medium income in New Iberia, what can they reasonably afford? That should be what's actually driving us to make the decision. It shouldn't be based on, well, I don't like trailers, It needs to be something that helps our citizens, the ones that are actually looking for affordable housing. That's all.
Dan?
Going back to the bank situation, I remember the banker telling me these mobile home dealers would finance these mobile homes for these people, and they would pay forever with high interest, where a modular home, they could finance from the bank at a lower interest. So at the end of the day, they would probably end up paying less for it. And because a lot of people, they sell you something and like to make the money on the financing. Right. And they would not finance mobile homes as easily as a modular home. So that's how it all got to, when I asked about the timeline.
Okay.
So that was it. But they do have, back then, they had way less modular homes than that, way less.
Yeah, oh
'Cause
yeah.
I hooked some
and
up
I
not
do
too
think,
long ago.
I do think they still have some that are very affordable.
Because sometimes we have to hook up, everything comes with it, we go hook up the air conditioning, and I know they're way less than that. Just depends what you want.
The other thing that we didn't talk about very much is that, Sear Gates would be the shelter for a very long time because, the parish was putting one together that I'm not saying they won't, but that doesn't seem to be moving at this time. So we will be the shelter. There is a case to make that, the minute a hurricane's coming, the advisory say if you live in a mobile home, seek a better shelter. So we are responsible for, everybody in this town. So I do worry, it's not the only way to make your decision, but I do worry. That is one reason that Laney and I wrote the grant and then passed it to Jane, and Jane finished it for the $7 million, because they actually spend money hardening trailers and improving them, because a trailer in a storm is not, I'm not being ugly, it's not as good as a house, and you end up with mandates saying if you live in a trailer, leave. Those are some things that I don't know how you, as a city, prepare for that. I guess there's nothing we can do about that because you can't do everything, but that is going to always be a concern. The other thing, the best example of a modular that was very affordable is the one in Brooks District. When my first term, a guy bought a modular and wanted to put it in Acadian Acres, and the neighborhood some people went ballistic. I mean, they were like, you remember?
Oh, yeah.
You know, if we were
I
here,
remember.
they went ballistic, okay? Well, the guy meant all the codes. The modular meant the modular code. It didn't look, I can't say that it was beautiful when the guy brought it there. You know, it wasn't finished. Because modulars come, you think they come completely put together. They're built in a factory, but they do still come in somewhat of pieces. So the guy put a roof on it, the guy added a garage, the guy did some landscape. By the time he finished, it's a cute little house. It looks like the shotgun house that we say can't be built anymore. It looks like the 100-year-old house that we say, well, nobody builds that anymore. It's nice. And all the neighbors admitted it was nice. I didn't have anybody complain about it. They did it first. But when it was finished, and it was at that time, I had looked at the numbers. I called the guy because he meant all the codes. I mean, I didn't do anything I wasn't supposed to do, but I helped him because he meant all the codes. And so he told me how much he spent. I ran the numbers. It was cheap.
So
It was very economical. It was not the Charrington version, okay, but it looked very good. It fit the space. And I think, you know, do you know the house I'm talking about?
Yes, it's on Texaco Street.
Yeah, and I mean, I think
It's
it's nice.
nice.
It fits the neighborhood, and it was affordable. So that's the ones I need to find.
Okay, so my cousin has a modular home here.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know, y'all might be talking about his, because he lives in that area.
Okay.
So it might be his house that you're talking about.
Okay.
However, you know how many years ago he bought that thing? That's been years. Those things are way more expensive now.
Well, everything's more expensive.
I know, but my
A trailer's
point.
more expensive now.
Yeah, but you could still get a trailer for $75,000.
Yeah.
so
But I mean, the trailer's more now. Ooh.
I agree. All I'm saying is that let's not make this decision based on just the fact that it's a trailer. Let's think about affordable homes based on the population of people we serve. And the fact is that we should be looking out for the people that are probably the least, the ones that have the least, to try and make sure that they can have decent housing. I keep thinking about seniors. I mean, some of them, they don't have money to even fix the homes that they're in, but they could probably use their Social Security check to get them a decent trailer. We have so many seniors, and David will see that as he goes around and looks at some of these houses that are really struggling in these old homes. So I'm just saying, it's something that we should think about, and maybe, you know, I keep thinking, come next week when the election happens, we're gonna be a lame duck council, because, you know, there's not a whole lot we can do in 3 more meetings.
We got more time. We got
Okay,
more meetings.
well,
Let's just
I don't know that we're gonna be able to.
Let's just punch our whole way through.
No, I mean, for this particular issue, I don't know that we're gonna be able to handle this particular issue, because we don't have enough meetings left to discuss this, because this is not something that we're gonna be able to solve tonight. We might be able to solve, everybody might be on board with extended to a year, but everybody won't be on board about, and the public needs to be able to have some time to come in and express their concerns as well. So I just feel like it's one of those agenda items we ought to put on the agenda. I don't know when. I mean, again, after December, I won't be here,
Understand.
so.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Be here somewhere.
Exactly.
UL
Just not here.
UL is coming in as well with the affordable housing. I went to some meetings with that, so I am interested to see what they come up with. It could be another alternative maybe we're not thinking of. So I can't wait to see what they come up with and what they classify as affordable housing. And if that project with UL takes off, that's gonna be interesting to see what they bring.
Okay.
You know, we might be able to learn something from that.
Yeah, because we're not the first people with this
No,
problem.
that's what I'm getting
No.
at. I mean, somebody's
Somebody's
But
thought
it's-
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's everywhere, and but I keep trying to get everybody to understand that if you go back and look at what the federal government's doing, they're saying mobile homes should be a solution for affordable housing. I mean, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're willing to hopefully give us $7.2 million to prove it. So we need to be forward thinking, we need to be thinking about our citizens, and not all of our citizens can afford that next level up. That's all.
Cool.
I'm good.
Anybody else on this issue?
Oh, yeah, I didn't say anything.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
But yeah, I'm definitely on board to give them a year, a little bit more time. I did do a little research just to kind of see online, a Lafayette trailer company, I forgot the name, I sent it to Laney. They said from start to finish, it's only 3 months. But if you do have, like what you were talking about, Mr. Dan, a situation where you have a divorce, it does take a long time for that to finalize. So I think a year is probably fair. to give them more time to be able to replace that trailer.
All right. It was a really good discussion. So, no, I mean, this is how things start, you know? That's a good thing. Thank you for putting that on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, welcome. And I just want more time for right now,
Okay, that's fine.
and maybe we'll get the other stuff on the agenda.
Isn't that lame, Doug Council? I'm just joking, guys.
It'll take me one meeting to get that done. Get the
Well,
right
we could
people
get it on
involved.
there, but we probably couldn't get it on there till December. Because I need to get my people together to come and fill up this, council chambers.
Well, it's gonna take a couple meetings.
Exactly.
All right, thank y'all. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we still haven't set a time to have an ordinance group meeting. That would be something that could be discussed during that time.
Okay.
We haven't had one for
In a while.
some months.
Yeah, okay.
Not like I haven't been requesting
Oh, yes,
one.
ma'am.
Well, and it'd be nice if we had more participation at the meeting. Instead, one councilman, two council people,
You
Well,
can
you
only
can't
have
have-
three.
I can have three.
you can have three.
Okay, all right,
But we've
that's
ne-
good.
three's unusual.
Okay, okay,
So,
all right.
do you mind if, never mind, I'll ask Laney later.
Okay,
I just thought about something we have to do
okay,
she mentioned ordinance committee.
all right. Okay, thank y'all very much. Now we move on to,
So what we proceed, Mayor, as far as giving them more time, how we go on the next agenda?
we had a really good discussion. This might not be a hard one. I mean, if the consensus, we just gotta talk about the time. If the consensus is a year, I mean, from the remarks I heard, everybody here, we might have varied between 10 months and a year, okay, but we close, all right? So that's an easy one. I mean, I could bring that one back. You, since you initiated, you could ask me to bring it back and we could put it as an item.
Okay.
And then
Can we
could-
do that? Can we bring it back? Not,
That's all I'm bringing back.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, everybody has
I'll
their
bring the other one back.
opinion.
Coach, we're gonna have to go do lunch, this Monday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the other one back.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm-
worry about that.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure where in the code that is.
He doesn't have to do it, I'll do it.
I'm not convinced on the other one either. So.
But I mean, we could still put it on there even though, right? I mean, you don't have to be totally convinced if it's not to be on the agenda, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I haven't denied whether I agree. I tell you my opinion. You all know that.
Of
Okay.
course.
I don't agree with bringing trailers back. I mean, I'm being honest.
Okay.
At the same time, I have never stopped anybody from bringing anything. Now, if you wanted to bring trailers back, it'd have to go to planning and zoning. We can't make that decision by ourselves. It's gone to planning and zoning a total of 4 different times that I know of. I mean, my people can't stay all night. Don't we know that? But it's gone to planning and zoning 4 times, and it's been rejected by planning and zoning 4 times.
Maybe they didn't make the right argument.
Well, that's I don't know, but I'm just saying the process is it goes through. It goes through planning and zoning before it comes to us.
I just have this feeling these trailers are gonna end up like my political signs, dead in the water.
Well, you never know. So, but what we can do, okay? Let's make progress. Okay, what we can do is you can get.
Yeah, can you put that on the next agenda?
We can put on the next agenda to extend the time.
Yeah, to
And
extend
we'll
the
have a
time.
discussion about that, and that'll be a real item, and we can vote on it.
Okay.
Cool. All right, Councilman's remarks. Starting on Councilwoman Brooke Marquette's side. Go.
I just want to remind everybody that the free garage event is November 3rd. It's at my house. If you guys know of anyone that's in need, send them to my house. I'll give y'all my address, and they could just come and get whatever they need. People drop off furniture, clothes, all kinds of random stuff even. So if y'all know anyone in need, please let them know about this event and send them my way. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, Mayor, this seat is gonna be vacant. It's already vacant. People are qualified for it, what have you. In 2016, when I decided to run, so let me put it this way. This seat right here is very, very valuable to me. It's because of the way the seat came about through, I think it was Citizens for Change in 1976, because they they went to the legislature to get a minority seat. This was the first minority seat district too. And, No offense to anybody. I know my Aunt Peggy did a great job up here for a long time. My grandfather died in office in 1989. Probably would have stayed here forever, but they'd have done term limits because they really liked him. I mean, people really liked him. Acts around town.
Yep.
And then, of course, I came a little later. Other people came. Mr. Wilson came. And, you know, I know for a fact that nobody ever, I never heard about any, you know, endorsements or anything of anybody from any candidate in this seat. I know my Aunt Peggy. She did that because she's my aunt. My mother's deceased. She was like my mom. And she brought me in front of the council, and she did a big deal. She handed a torch. She went by a little torch, a little plastic torch with a blowing flame on it, and she handed me the torch, and she said, "I'm handing you the torch for District 2. And I thought it was awesome. She got out of this seat and stood up. Who could have been? You had to be here, Dan, but you probably don't remember. I know
Miss Peggy, I remember.
Miss Peggy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Peggy, we were tight.
And, you know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
well, she handed me the torch, and I have the torch. I have the torch. I'm trying to say it in a nice way. I have the torch now. Going out and talking to my Aunt Peggy. She didn't tell me anything about any endorsements or anything. Me and her talk all the time. Matter of fact, she's in rehab right now, doing good. She had a little touch of arthritis. She's 83 years old. She's in rehab right now. We talk every day. She had some stuff to say about the race. She wanted to see good people in this seat. She didn't tell me anything about an endorsement. And, you know, I won't endorse anybody either because the three candidates running, I know them all personally. Some of I worked with, some of I haven't never worked with. But I know them all personally. And just in all fairness, I won't endorse on this local level about anything since it came up earlier. And just hope that we get good people. I've been seeing stuff on Facebook and all that, and some on Facebook, some not. Just hope that we get good people with integrity that represents this seat. My grandfather wore a suit to every meeting, but it wasn't about dressing. I come to meeting, if y'all notice, I come to meeting sharp every meeting because my mom always say when you step in a professional building, you should go looking like you're somebody. And then, by the way, you might want to have something in your head to represent how you look. That's what my mama told me. You know, and now,
Peggy was sharp.
I have a lot, she was. I have a lot of respect for this seat. And, you know, I just wanted to go in the hands of somebody that want to see progress. That's all. You know, so I'll say this and I'm going to shut up about that. My birthday this weekend, too, so happy birthday to me. On the 20th, I'll be 54 years old, big boy. Say what I want, do what I want within the law. No repercussions. If you want to know who I like in this race, you can call me at 337-577-3448, and I'll give you the lay of the land, in my opinion, from 8 years of sitting in here and from 1980, 44 years of watching my family kind of like care for the community. I can tell you like, and they didn't always do everything great, right, whatever, but I can give you an idea of the lay of the land of District 2 and what we need. And some people think they know what we need, but they don't know what we need. I know we need an active participant in the community that's willing to answer phone calls, show up to meetings, and do all of the things that we've done for years. Because you can't fix every problem. But one thing that you must have to represent, and it's the best ability one can have, and it's availability. And my family has always been available, never ran from anything, always showed up. That's all. So no endorsements from the man who has the torch. Good luck to everybody running.
Thank you, sir.
Well, serving three terms, 12 years in this seat for District 3, and watching all that you presented, Mr. Mayor, and all of us had a lot to do with getting these programs going, a lot. You know, that's heavyweight stuff, because the past councils that we sat on, Dan, and different one of us, you sat at the parish, it's hard to get things accomplished. And over the weekend, a big accomplishment was a cook-off. Your police force, Mr. Mayor, your police force did a great job. I see them, they blocked off a bunch of roads. Looked like it went calm. Hope they had no ruckus that I could see. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, for guiding us for the last 8 years. And I think I served another 8 years before this 8 years. You know, waiting in between terms. I ran and lost by 3 votes. 3 votes. I could have contested it. You know, I could have contested where they got who to go vote. I didn't go. But I ended up with my 3 terms in the long run. But I got emotional like you. So if anybody else come sit down in here and do something. They had something this yesterday. They dug up Week Street. Why? Because they had a broken rail underneath it. Old tracks are left under the rail. And y'all keep saying, well, Dave, why you keep talking rail? They got old tracks in the middle of town. Mind you, the middle of town, because I watch them change the tracks from New Iberia to Lafayette and New Iberia to Jeanerette. But they didn't change no tracks down the middle of town. And all of a sudden, the rail, I heard that before they came, but 2 weeks ago, Mr. Templeton, he said the railroad man said he heard a little crack driving a train. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, they came and redid, dug up Week Street. It would end up being right under where they crossed the track. And they dug it up and changed that track. And they put the track back up. But hope nothing happens. Already told the railroad people, don't let no more derailment happen like it happened, when it was 40 years ago, Mr. Mayor, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. My dad, we watched it right outside of his building. And all kind of cars were twisted up all the way down the middle of town. It happened in Iberia already.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, quickly, next time we all meet will be November the 6th. The election will be in the background, so best of luck to everybody that's in the election process. And also, early voting starts this Saturday, November 18th to the 24th. Go out and vote on November the 5th. And Friday the 18th, right, Friday the 18th. And go out and early vote, and then November 5th is the election.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I do want to remind everybody that voting is very important. Some people feel that my one vote won't count. You just heard Mr. Broussard say he lost by 3 votes. Your one vote does count, and your vote is your voice. So people bled and died for the right for everybody to have the right to vote. So please, let's not squander our rights, and let's go out and vote. Starts on the 18th, early voting, all except for Sundays. And if you can't get there early, go out on November the 5th and just vote. Of course, I would hope that you vote a certain way, but hey, you vote the way your heart tells you to vote. Thank you.
I was going to remind everybody of early voting, but since we've already taken care of that, I just want to remind everybody to know the issues, know who you're voting for. If you were not able, especially on the local level, because again, even though the presidential election is coming up at the same time, the local election is the one that you really need to pay attention to, because we're the ones who affect your daily lives. So if you didn't get a chance to go to any of the forums, the one we put on in the West End is still on Facebook. Please feel free to go and take a look at what the candidates said. Make sure you're voting, not just voting partisan, but just vote for the people who actually are going to represent you and the issues that are going on in your life. Don't just, say I'm going to stick with party lines. Listen to the candidates and make sure you know who cares about you as a person and who's going to vote the way that you need them to vote so that your life gets better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Marlon, I said, Miss Peggy, spending plenty of time in that living room, going over the budget. I think I ate there one day, but I feel like I should go to a family reunion.
You're welcome.
Tell her I said hi.
I will.
But, Mayor, I want to put my hats off to the police department and public works for 2 events we had, Sugarcane Festival and Gumbo Cook-Off. They just on, I mean, they just there. And you know, we talk about people that represent the city like we do. They represent the city. Without them, we wouldn't have a city like this. They really step it up for these events, late hours, early mornings, weekends, nights. And I just don't think they appreciate it. And I know we appreciate it, the mayor appreciates them, but the public don't understand what they do for this community. And I want to thank them all because I've been just amazed at how nice they are.
Right.
Like they love their job, they love their city. They're not doing it because they feel like they need to do it. And I want to thank them out because it's hard to get workers, and to get workers to work those hours is even harder. So I want to thank them, man, and thank you and the administration and their bosses, because it takes a leader. If they're not treated right, or then they won't do right, and they do right. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm just looking up something real quick in the code of ordinances, and it looks like the way we dealt with mobile homes was we said there was no place for them. We just kind of took away the place for mobile homes. And then we said, but a non-conforming use is allowed within 6 months. And that's all part of the zoning ordinance. So we're gonna have to look at how you amend the zoning ordinance, which is a little different from amending the regular ordinances. So I just want to tell you, I think it's a zoning rule.
Okay.
And I think it has to do with non-conforming uses, and it's special for mobile homes.
That's why it always goes back to planning and zoning before it comes to us.
Yeah, they have, now, the council can initiate a change. It doesn't have to start with planning and zoning, but there's a particular process in the law where you have to have hearings with planning and zoning and all that. So, in the end, the council decides. But the end is sometimes not close to the beginning.
Gotcha.
That's a good way to put it. All right, it's been a long meeting, a lot of discussion. I want to thank everybody again. I want to thank the council members that showed up from last term. Again, I'm going to beat a dead horse, but I want to thank you for all of this because couldn't do it alone. We got a lot of challenges ahead of us, but things are good. And I do also want to commend the Sugarcane Festival as well as the Gumbo Cook-Off, all the different associations of people that come together to put those things on, as well as, you know, my staff, my people, the police department, public works, everybody involved. You know, the fire department gets involved. I mean, it touches every department, from my staff on down. So it's a real community effort. It's a city effort, but those organizations, the Chamber of Commerce and the festival board, you know, what they do to entertain us for those 2 weekends is really a year-round thing. So I need to thank them as well, and to the community. Both of those events, of course, I attended them. They went off with almost no hitch at all, which is a testament to our community. They were both very well attended. We have 6 events in a row. We have Beneath the Balconies coming, and then we have the Halloween parade, so we have a couple of them left. Get out and vote. And we'll see you on the Wednesday, the 6th, because the meeting will move because of Election Day. So that's a little wrinkle. But we'll see you on Wednesday, November the 6th. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you.